John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, August 2nd, 2015. Time once again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination Episode 744.
This is No Agenda.
Jade Helm, 15 plus 18 and counting once again in a blue moon. And broadcasting live from the capital of the Drone Star State here in FEMA Region 6 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where at least in this neck of the woods, there is no Golden Dome. Oh, I'm sorry, Heat Dome. Heat Dome. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Was this a Freudian slip?
No,
Golden what?
Golden Dome.
Oh, Golden Dome. Okay. Yes.
Tribute to every bald guy listening to the show.
Stupidest story that was just retweeted and copied. The smart people. Here, Molly Wood on Facebook. Post a link to this story, and her comment is oh.my.god. People. It was 112 degrees. It happens in Texas all the time.
Actually, we had one of our listeners, I guess, in the area had the temperature at 91.
What, here in where?
In Iran.
Oh, really? So this story got incredible legs, which really shows how people do not read. They just see a headline and, I better retweet this. This is crazy. Must be global warming. Right. What was the headline? 165 degrees?
164, 165, 90 degrees Celsius or something outrageous.
Yeah, Washington Post.
And it was in the Independent. It was in all these British newspapers.
But Washington Post, John. Washington Post. Here, headline. Iran city hits suffocating. Now, they did it properly. Heat index of 165 degrees.
That doesn't mean anything.
No, of course not. They say 90% humidity makes it feel like 165. Well, we have that in Texas all the time. We don't speak of a heat dome.
Heat index. And that's just a made-up number. This is becoming more, I think, along with the global warming thing, this is becoming thematic. And we first noticed it with the earthquake.
What do you mean? With the numbers on the earthquake?
Yeah, they stopped using the Richter scale, and they came up with this kind of vague numbering system.
Yeah, the numbering system, which allows them to make the number much higher, because the Richter scale is logarithmic, so the difference between an 8 and a 9 is vast. Vast. And this, I think, the criteria is if stuff shakes off the wall, then it's a 6.
Right. It's all subjective.
Yeah. Yeah. But it works.
This heat thing is subjective. We have moved to a society of subjective analysis, which is useless.
Yes. Yes, it is. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say either. I just think it's an observation that can be made, and everybody just all freaks out about the craziest stuff.
No, I don't even know if
apparently Mimi's spending all her time on Facebook arguing about this particular.
Hopefully, she's saying it's bullcrap. That would be expectation.
No, she's a weather junkie. She spotted it as bullcrap right away and found it was annoying. Well, and I found it almost insulting. These guys, they're tricky. The way they wrote these stories was designed to trick me.
Let me see. Although I'm just reading from the Washington Post, and they go into a lot of depth, and they've got a lot of indented things which people don't read. Although there are no official records, 178 degrees, 81 degrees Celsius is the highest known heat index ever attained, which was observed in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia on July 8, 2003. So it's not even a record for the heat index. In 2003. Oh, man. Yeah. It's sad.
Well, there was a couple of things, because we do have a heat wave going on in the United States. And there is one story that kind of got my attention, which is the, let's see what would be the title of this clip. Oh, Saudi. Yeah, it takes me a while. I'm going to be slow today for some reason.
It's okay.
Heat wave.
All right, heat wave. Shall we just play the clip, or does it?
I want to set it up. I thought this was very. It again makes you really wonder about the general intelligence of the public.
That's your setup?
Yeah, well, it's
program, and that gap.
People are taking significantly more out of Social Security than they, Medicare than they paid into it.
Exactly.
And I think that's not something people generally know.
This is heat wave?
Oh, no, it's not. It's healthcare. I'm sorry. Hey, you think you're the only one that's slow today?
In parts of Texas, the heat index hit the century mark.
It's going to be another hot day out there.
And nationwide, parents are being reminded not to leave kids in parked cars after a New Jersey toddler was rescued this week. He's one of the lucky ones. So far this year, 11 children have died after being left in hot cars. In New York, the mercury again soared near 90 today. Not historic, but for those outside, nothing to mess with.
Oh, this is horrible. This is really setting it up.
The me isn't even the story. It's that 11 kids have died because their parents are too stupid to take them out of the car.
Apparently. Yeah.
The dogs, that must be the dog level must be that 100 dogs dead. They had this one story. They showed this rescuing some poor half dead kid in Jersey, and the mom, sauntering up with a basket full of groceries. What's everyone doing? A million cops. What's everyone doing?
Your kid's dying.
All these women berating her.
Man.
Well, yeah, no, it's there's been this last few days. There have, especially ABC. So I'm watching the weekend news, and I see our friend Erica Hill has finally gotten a seat.
Wait a minute.
At the table.
Is she our friend? Why is she our friend? Do we know?
Well,
her?
She's my friend. She used to work at Tech TV. You've seen her. We've talked about her.
Okay.
And she
is she hot?
She's extreme. She's beautiful, actually.
Searching now. Oh, whoa. Hill Yount.
Yeah, she married another friend of mine, David Yount, and he, I guess, he manages her. I'm not sure.
Is that?
But she's come in and out of vogue at the networks, and now she's back. It looks like she's back with a new delivery style, which I think is better than what she was doing when she was at CBS. But I was watching her news thing, and it was pretty normal. And then I went to ABC because I recorded all the different news, national news broadcasts to see what they do. Holy crap! These people at ABC have gone crazy.
Okay,
that's where that heat. The heat. Oh, they were all gonna die. And they had a couple of other things in there. What was the one? Again, if I was a little more on the boat. Here's the bullshit. Here's a bullshit ABC tech analysis.
Vulnerable to a cyber attack. The FDA warning hospitals be on alert for hackers. Here's ABC's Aditi Roy.
Hospitals across the country receiving an unprecedented warning by the FDA tonight that a commonly used medical device may be at risk of getting hacked.
Wait, let me guess. Will someone be demonstrating this again at DEF CON?
The device, Hospira's Symbic infusion pump, is used to deliver medications like painkillers and cancer treatments to patients through an IV. In its warning, the FDA says an unauthorized user with malicious intent could access the pump remotely and modify the dosage it delivers.
So every hospital should assume that its devices, if connected to the internet, can be attacked. And so it's an important warning. This is not an isolated incident.
Hospira says it deployed an update to provide customers with an extra layer of security until the pump is completely off the market in a few months, a move already in the works before this warning. This new worry over healthcare hacks comes just after Fiat Chrysler issued a voluntary recall of 1.4 million vehicles to install software to prevent hacking.
Kill the engine.
A vulnerability seen in this demonstration video when hackers took control of this Jeep. These two cases showing how the rewards of technology also come with risks.
And the FDA says there was no specific hacking attempt that prompted this warning, but still says there's a very real possibility, Cecilia, this could happen. A scary possibility too, Aditi. Thank you.
Wait a minute. That nothing prompted this report?
No. It could happen. These things could happen.
That's great. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for, someone could also walk up to it and just punch in the numbers. It's not that hard. It's got to
take a gun to your head and shoot it.
Or smother you with a pillow. I mean, anything's possible. Yeah.
So this is what the ABC has been. I watched the whole weekend news thing. Every story was hysterical. Hysterical in the by having a female reporter, screaming and worried, sick about everything, hysterical.
Well, NBC,
not funny.
NBC had an exclusive when it comes to cyber, John. An exclusive.
There are new concerns this morning over cyber security here at home. NBC News has exclusively obtained a U.S. intelligence map highlighting nearly 700 public and private victims of Chinese cyber espionage.
Woo! The U.S. has been warning about how aggressively China is engaged in cyber spying here, but a classified map obtained by NBC News dramatically shows how widespread it is. Prepared by the National Security Agency, the map shows a red dot for every successful cyber intrusion by China over the past 5 years.
Red dot.
Nearly 700 in all against both government and private companies, large and small. Among the targets, such trade secrets as formulas for popular drugs, specifications for hybrid cars, genetics of new productive food crops, and the workings of both civilian and military air traffic control systems. The FBI says it's now investigating hundreds of cases of suspected Chinese espionage. That's 50% more than a year ago, and it's making a big new push, urging American companies to vastly improve their cyber defenses.
Now, this does have a reason, John. I think both stories have a reason. As CISA
have a reason.
Yeah, CISA is up for debate. This is, and we have a lot of action. EFF is trying to oppose this. This is the Internet Sharing. What is the actual name of this? A Cyber Information Sharing Act, which would incentivize companies to liberally share cyber threat indicators with the Department of Homeland Security. And this is very complicated. It's not really complicated, but it is putting the burden of finding terrorist activity on the providers of services themselves, meaning that Facebook and Google and anybody else is expected to be on the lookout and pass on information.
Yeah, if you see something.
Yes.
If you see something, say something.
I walk through the TSA lines again, and there's the sign, and I always have to think, why don't they license our jingle? I went to Fort Worth.
Oh, that's right. You took a flight.
I did. I took a flight to Fort Worth, and I have a couple of things to discuss about that.
Okay, we'll get this out of the way, and you can start discussing. So, what was the experience?
Well, the experience was interesting. Flew Virgin America. That's what the podcast movement. I went to score an award.
Yes.
Yeah.
I pointed this out in the newsletter with a link to the fabulous video
from Sir Gene,
taken by Sir Gene, the sheriff.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the audio is very poor. But I don't understand why this
obviously plugged into the
board.
Board.
No, Gene wasn't plugged into the board. Hey, okay. Let me tell you my experience first of all. So I got pre-checked. That worked perfectly. Boom, boom, boom. Went through. I predict Virgin America is in trouble.
Okay.
Their planes are. Have you ever? Well, yes, I'm sure you have. If you've ever seen a nightclub, during the day when the lights are on,
sure I have.
Of course you have. You've been in the club,
seen a crap hole nightclub where the strippers are fat. Have you ever seen that?
You were laying in a pool of your own vomit. You've seen it, John. Come on, we know you've seen it. So when you come into the Virgin Air, I haven't flown Virgin America in a long time. It's like a nightclub, and it's all everything's dimmed. Yeah, and they have the purple lighting, and it's all groovy. Now,
you could kind of use the smell of sour beer would probably make it.
Well, the plane was not clean. I'll start with that.
Okay,
it was not clean. I mean, there was blankets on the chair from the previous passenger. There was goop everywhere, so they didn't clean it. The flight attendants, who I've always believed have been chosen based upon their cuteness factor, both male and female, are still cute, but they have the summer outfit, which consists of this shirt that says with aloha. Maybe they have flights to Hawaii or something, but they're ill-fitting. Yeah, they're ill-fitting shirts, and with like purple, which clashes with the red because they have it's red and black is the Virgin colors, and so they have their red cardigans on when it's a little chilly in the plane, and it clashes completely with the purple and the pinkish color. So I don't understand who came up with that brilliant idea. But as an aviator, as an airman, I like to have the shades of. All the shades are drawn when you get into the Virgin America aircraft. And so I open it up and then, God, oh man, then that was the nightclub experience. Everything's chipped and, they have a lot of plexiglass in the plane, smoked plexiglass, all scratched and just gaudy, just no good looking. So they need to do an upgrade, or someone is dropping the ball on Virgin America, I think.
Well, I haven't flown them for a while because their prices are never any better than Southwest.
Right.
And Southwest, for where I am, I go to the Oakland airport and grab a quick flight pretty much anywhere up and down the coast. And so Virgin really have to have a hell of a deal.
$47 to Dallas. That's pretty
It's
good.
always, this says that at 7:30 in the morning.
No, all day long.
I'm not.
It's a promotion.
Well, 47 for you.
It's a promotion.
Yeah, but you don't have a lot of options from going from Austin to Dallas, do you?
We have plenty of them.
Southwest, you got Southwest.
We got American. Sure we do.
I bet you Southwest match. But yeah, it's better that you took a Virgin America because you can make this report.
Precisely. But otherwise uneventful. And then the podcast movement, this was different this year.
Before we get to that, weren't you wrapping something else up?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Of course. Well, we can go on forever. The Data Act, which is stuck, but Einstein has been approved.
Yeah.
You recall Einstein?
That's another thing we have to fight.
And they're talking about there's something new. It's the federal fog. The federal fog. This is a new term. Have you heard this fog?
Federal fog?
Yeah, the federal fog. We have the federal fog, but it's the fog computing, which I think is a Cisco term.
Fog cloud computing.
Yes.
This is a terrible term.
So Cisco is, of course, all in on the Internet of Things, also known as IoT. And they want to change the name to fog computing, the concept being that what do we have now? 10 billion devices that they will be creating, they'll be processing and storing and serving up data and information from the edges of the cloud, hence the fog. And there's going to be a push for the federal fog, which is, as predicted,
seems redundant.
Well, as predicted, the pendulum always swings. We've had the cloud, and now we're swinging back. That's centralized. That's the mainframe computing, and now it's going right back out to decentralization, to the edges. You could have short every cloud computing company now. But we'll have the federal fog.
Fog Computing Expo, August 17th through 20th.
No.
Wages, Nevada.
No, you're kidding me.
No.
There's a Fog Computing Expo?
Yeah, in Lost Wages.
Wow. Okay.
It's coming up in a week.
There you go. Yeah, so this fog computing thing. But Einstein has been approved. We have, you already heard the hacking map. But it's all to push these bills through before recess. Isn't recess coming up? Is it the end of August when everyone takes off?
Recess has begun.
Really? I thought
the month of August they take off.
I thought they had one more week.
I don't know.
Recess.
I'll look it up.
We should definitely do that. Congress recess. Do you know when?
I'm looking.
Okay.
Hi, there's a PDF of the congressional work schedules. Here we go.
Good.
Okay, August 10th they go. They're
okay.
out.
Yeah, so they're trying to pass this stuff real quick.
The House leaves on the 3rd, so they've got to get.
They got to go. They got to go.
Nothing's going to happen with the House gone.
Maybe.
So let's see. The 3rd is tomorrow. No, it's too late.
Nothing's going to happen tomorrow. I agree.
It's too late. The House takes an extra week. And they're all back on September 7th, both sides.
Did you? Now,
this is a great little thing. I got to print this out.
So when we look at all of this hacking and cyber attacks, et cetera, and we've been following this at a meta level, the one thing that we've consistently said that all of this is really about espionage and kind of what that Chinese map, which is just a map with dots on it. So scary. But somehow we missed this report about the J.P. Morgan hack.
Okay.
And they've arrested some dudes for this.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, I got a report.
A pump and dump scheme linked to that hack of JP Morgan accounts. The security scheme has tentacles, it says, in Russia, Israel, and the U.S. As you mentioned, 4 people have been arrested in Israel and in Florida and reveal a complex securities fraud scheme that was tied to those hacks, not only of JP Morgan, but other financial institutions. Officials are saying a 5th person remains at large. These headlines just coming across. Apparently, these folks were arrested this morning and represent the culmination of a months-long investigation. It involves several friends who met more than a decade ago at Florida State University. Apparently, in the indictment here, one of these friends is now living in Israel. Another person are charged with securities fraud in a plan to pump up the value of low-volume stocks. The 2 people arrested in Florida are charged with running an unlicensed money-remitting business related to the scheme. So, fascinating story here. It looks like behind that enormous hack of JP Morgan Chase and other financial institutions. We'll bring you more developments as we get them. But interesting here. And again, this hack revealed just about a year ago, coming up in August, Mark.
This was the hack a year ago when Chase had to reissue cards to everybody.
Yes.
And so what they're saying here is that, and the American is also...
well, this doesn't sound like a very good explanation for anything.
Well, I have a follow-up clip to
this. If it's a pump and dump scheme, what's it got to do with hacking into Chase?
Well,
JP Morgan?
Here's the follow-up from this really cute girl on Bloomberg, Carrie... Geiter or something.
I know you're in the middle of this breaking news. Talk to me about pump and dump.
Well, it's a common and it's an old school scheme. You know, we saw boiler rooms doing this back in the 80s and 90s. I think the Wolf of Wall Street could probably be.
Hold on. Did she say woof? She said woof.
Did she say woof?
It sounded like Wolf of Wall Street to me. Well, yeah.
And it's an old school scheme. You know, we saw boiler rooms doing this back in the 80s and 90s. I think the Wolf of Wall Street could probably be, you know, some form of that was happening. But basically, you either get investors, you know, the way they used to do it, they would call, you know, kind of unwitting people on the phone, cold calls, and get them to invest in these low volume, most of the time they're penny stocks, and then as more and more people pump money into these stocks, then basically the fraudsters or the criminals then sell those off and profit from the stock that they're already holding in this. So
now, see, I don't agree completely with her analysis or her explanation of pump and dump. Pump and dump, the way I understand it, is not so much done with boiler rooms, but it's more online. It's on forums and people, you know, posting phony baloney news reports or hyping up some future deal. Right.
But you're just talking about a modern version.
Okay. All right. Well, listen carefully to the report.
Pump and dump was around way before the online anything.
Oh, sure.
And by the way, I just decided I wanted to see what this girl looked like because you made a big stink about it. So I look up Bloomberg and Carrie, figuring I don't know what you said for her last name. It's like everybody that works at Bloomberg is Carrie. Carrie Gabori, Carrie Tolstead, Carrie Bollmeyer, Carrie Smith-Cox.
Patty Steele.
I mean, give me Patty Steele.
Let me see Bloomberg. Let me tell you which one it is. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Patty Steele with you, everybody, right here on the Bloomberg Network. Let me see.
About 2 people got that gag.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
Yeah, I'm glad. I would think I was the other one. Anyway, but let's continue, because what she's saying is an interesting twist to how this hack is related.
It's a common securities fraud. Now, what we're seeing now, as this story unfolds, of course, we'll have more details, is you're seeing a pivot away from the old school pump and dump to now one that appears to be tied to a major hack of a U.S. bank.
Carrie, when this story broke, when the hack broke, what we were hearing from JP Morgan was the Russians did this. We got information that perhaps this was some sort of overseas thing that happened.
Right, and it looks like, although this is developing, there's a little bit more to the story than that. And as we kind of go through the indictment and see more details, I think we're going to see that there's more to the story than just the Russians getting in there and hacking it. It appears to be basically a criminal enterprise. Now,
hey, Vladimir, get on in here, baby.
The people arrested today were not arrested for the hack of JP Morgan. They were arrested for some of them, not all, obviously want to make sure we're careful here, for basically setting up this pump and dump scheme with the aid of information related to or linked to various hacks and going in and getting, information from banks.
Okay. So what
she said nothing.
Yes, she did say something. She said that the pump and dump, first of all, this all Israelis. This Israelis and then one American who's a dual national and is, for all intents and purposes for the story, an Israeli. So the Israelis, either they were part of the hack or they were using information to pump and dump. So, which to me means JP Morgan, if it's true, which I doubt, if it's true that they hacked in to JP Morgan Chase's systems, they figured out that people were already hyping crap that was prime for pump and dump, which the fraud is probably at JP Morgan.
Well, pump and dump's a way to make a lot of money fast.
Mm-hmm.
And the wolf of Wall Street is largely about the process.
Mm-hmm.
And how easy it is to get away with it because nothing really happened to that guy. And true story, more or less.
Mm-hmm. Well, according to the complaint filed in Manhattan on Tuesday, there was a guy in West Palm Beach. Where does Horowitz live? Is he in West Palm Beach?
No, he's in Fort Lauderdale, I believe.
Oh, then he's in the clear. The guy in West Palm Beach who was implicated in this, he was also implicated. I don't know if he was arrested or he's now being implicated in laundering at least $1.8 million through a Bitcoin exchange scam, which most of them are Bitcoin exchange scam. So this thing is all over the map. But to me, if they're saying that the JP Morgan Chase hack was tied into a pump and dump scheme, that's not just because you have someone's credit card number. They're not taking your credit card and using it to buy penny stocks. No, they had some information probably about a pump and dump already ongoing inside of JP Morgan Chase, which is why
that's what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's your thesis.
That's my thinking. Yeah.
We have no idea because these reporters have told us nothing, even though you claim she did. But I didn't hear anything that would tell me what the point of the hack was. I think you're... See,
I heard it very clear. She said that they were using information to pump and dump. That's what she said.
That means nothing to me. Were they using the price quotes? Were they?
Oh, of course. I understand.
What specific information? She doesn't say. Just information. We have information.
Okay,
man.
According to the story she wrote, and I will read her writing verbatim. What is her name?
Okay.
Her name is. Hold on. Oh, her name's not even on this. Good work. Okay. But it is the Bloomberg story. Where is it here? Among the surprising twists of the JP Morgan investigation is that hackers appear to have broken into the digital version of Fort Knox. Oh, God. Bloomberg? Is this Bloomberg, really? The digital version of Fort Knox. Well, we're in trouble. To steal relatively innocuous data, specifically emails of JP Morgan customers that could be used for spam. Oh, maybe they did that. Maybe they spammed the customers acting as...
They stole the mailing list.
Yeah, acting as JP Morgan brokers saying, hey, you got to buy into this.
Buy this stock.
So the cyber criminals behind the JP Morgan hacks mowed through the data. I love these adjectives. Mowed through the data. Mowed through the data at several major banks and brokerages, including Fidelity and E-Trade, for more than a year, beginning in the fall of 2013, according to cybersecurity firms and the Federal Bureau of Investigation memo, which was obtained and now published, of course. They contributed to a hodgepodge of scams. This is not reporting. This is prose. Mainly securities fraud and spamming emails. Okay. Maybe they were just using gullible people from an email.
Yeah, they probably, I'm sure JP Morgan's database of their customers has check boxes for gullibility.
Whale. Click.
Whale. Dumb.
I'm sure that's exactly what the tags they have. It's not clear if the JP Morgan hackers sought data other than the names, addresses, and emails eventually removed from the bank's main data center. Removed. Copied, maybe. Removed. I doubt they were removed. U.S. officials believe the cyber attacks were done with the help of expert hackers in Russia, according to a second person familiar with the case. This is not reporting, you're right. But they rolled up these Israelis for some reason. And then there's no Russians. It's 3 Israelis. Sorry. One of our closest allies. This is an outrage. We should remove
because some criminals in Israel has got nothing to do with our closest allies. They're just the same kind of crooks that are all over the world. They just happen to be from the university. It makes some sense they're from the University of Florida. Or was it Florida State? Florida State makes more sense.
Now,
Thank you. Guys, all letters, adam@curry.com. We have Florida State listeners. I was just giving them a bad time.
So here's another angle to look at this. But these stories with the Chinese cyber attack map, with the hacks, could be linked to an executive order that came out earlier this week. I doubt it was discussed anywhere. Did you hear anything about the executive order for creating a national strategic computing initiative?
No, but I don't normally pay much attention because I know you're on it.
I am indeed. Now, the title is misleading. Before it is titled, I'll read it again, Executive Order Creating a National Strategic Computing Initiative. Let's look into the order itself. By the authority vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, and to maximize benefits of high-performance computing research, known as HPC, and deployment, it is hereby ordered as follows. Policy. Ding! In order to maximize the benefits of high-performance computing for economic competitiveness and scientific discovery, the United States government must create a coordinated federal strategy in high-performance computing research, development, and deployment. Well, there it is. We're creating a supercomputer to steal your shit, people. And I'm talking to you, China, and Russia, and Germany.
How is this new?
How is it new? That this is now a federal mandate to create.
I know, but we're doing it anyway.
Well,
There's something else that's got to be deeper than that.
I think it's taking away from the other agencies and moving it into moving it under the administration effectively. Here, the United States must deploy and apply new high-performance computing technologies broadly for economic competitiveness and scientific discovery. Who's going to use this?
Yeah, spies.
Yeah, the United States must foster
competitiveness. Yeah, you steal ours.
Well, wait for it.
Our secrets, we steal your secrets.
Well, wait for it. Number 2, the United States must foster public-private collaboration.
Oh, here we go. Well, this is
that's the one.
more they push for this, the less likely they're going to ever achieve it.
The United States must adopt a whole-of-government approach that draws upon the strengths of and seeks cooperation among all executive departments and agencies. Of course, they're all in there. And the United States must develop a comprehensive technical and scientific approach to transition high-performance computing research on hardware, system, software, development tools, and applications efficiently into development and ultimately operations.
This is really the fascist thing is alive and well.
Yeah,
Let's make the corporations work for the government, and the government will help the corporations. We'll all be one big happy family.
Newer listeners are often confused when we say this is a fascist move. But when you have collusion between the government and...
We're not talking about Hitler. We're talking about fascism in the sense of corporatism, where the government is in bed with the corporations or force the corporations to go get in bed with them.
Here are the objectives of the HCP. Executive departments, agencies, and offices of the agencies participating in the NSCI. What is that?
NSCI?
NSCI? Let me see. That's
TV show.
It's the National Strategic Computing Initiative, of course.
Yes.
Shall pursue the 5 strategic objectives. 1, accelerating delivery of a capable exascale computing system that integrates hardware and software capability to deliver approximately 100 times the performance of current 10 petaflop systems across a range of applications representing government needs. Is that big? 1,000 petaflops? That would if it's 1,000 petaflops, it's no longer a petaflop. It's what's above a petaflop? Exaflop?
Exaflop has to be, yeah. Who cares? This is bull crap.
Okay. But it's funnier though. If you want to, I'll just continue. You may
wasting a taxpayer's money again.
Increasing coherence between the technology base used for modeling and simulation and that used for data analytic computing. Let me see if I understand this.
This thing must be they're going to have to rent this thing out.
Oh, timeshare. Increasing coherence between the technology. Timeshare. Hey, would you like to go to this great concert tonight at the White House? All you have to do is visit this 45-minute timeshare presentation for the high-performance computing system.
Yes, you two can have its use for 1 week.
So increasing coherence between the technology base used for modeling and simulation and that used for data analytic computing. So this will be a predictive technology, the way I read that, which is Minority Report, exactly. Establishing over the next 15 years a viable path forward for the future high-performance computing systems, even after the limits of current semiconductor technology are reached. The so-called post-Moore's Law era. What? Are they claiming that Moore's Law will end in 15 years?
Well, but this is like the global warming it was a teetering point, the point of no return. The point of no return, which has been reached, I don't know, every 10 years it's been reached. They've been saying the same thing about the end of Moore's Law since way before, I'm trying to think of what's, I think at the one, right now we're at 22 nanometers.
So we're at peak computing. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, peak computing.
Peak computing power.
Yes, they have, and there's actually some evidence this time. I think there's always been evidence, but they keep breaking the through the barrier, and they keep making these chips more ridiculous.
Well, they're very clear.
There's going to be a grain of sand by the time we're done here.
The president is very clear that over the next 15 years, we must establish a viable path forward for future high.
What has he got to do with it?
He's the man. His iPad's running slow, so. Viable path forward for future HPC systems, even after the limits of current semiconductor technology are reached. So that's a predictive.
We haven't gotten to the photon stuff yet, so it's a ways away.
Increasing the capacity and capability of an enduring national HPC ecosystem by employing a holistic approach. Oh, dare I say a holistic approach that addresses relevant factors such as networking technology, workflow, downward scale. Is this just some kind of big handoff to the big companies? So yeah, we'll fund the next version of your systems, Google.
For what purpose?
Just to give it to them so they'll do whatever the government tells them to do?
The local hackers, the guys who were meeting in Vegas and the ones around the world and those Israeli guys, they don't need this sort of power to hack into JP Morgan.
No.
So what is the?
I'll tell you.
This kind of power to hack into a Chinese database of trademark patents.
No, but it is a great way to achieve the fifth, the most important objective in this executive order: developing an enduring public-private collaboration to ensure that the benefits of the research and development advances are, to the greatest extent, shared between the United States government, the industrial and academic sectors. So that's it. It's creating a huge fog cloud thing, Internet of Things, that will be shared equally between the government, Google, and Harvard, or Stanford, or all of the above. I don't see any other reason. And it's going to cost a lot of money.
It's just a waste of money.
Not if you get everyone on board sharing.
They're not going to.
Really?
All right, I don't know this was a strange story. It all began with the JP Morgan hack by the Israelis. And somehow you got onto this, and I don't know what this is, and I still think it's something bogative about it.
Okay.
Big giant computer. They're building it. Our government's building a big giant computer.
In space.
What?
In space. They should just add stuff to it.
Is it going to be in space?
No, I'm saying they should add to that. Put it in space.
That would be. That would top it.
Solar-powered drones. with high-performance computing. I don't know either, John. I do know the House of Representatives is looking for a new CIO if you want to apply for that job.
CIO.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that. I do want to play one more crazy clip from ABC where they're hysterical.
Okay.
Let's play the clip. Drones in the homeland.
Yeah, I got this too. That's great.
And now to some frightening close calls in the air here in New York. Two different flights landing at JFK Airport coming within mere feet of drones flying where they should not have been. Pilots seeing drones in the sky virtually every day. The risk of colliding with one of them growing too. Here now, ABC's Marcy Gonzalez.
Tonight, after two close calls with drones in the most crowded airspace in the country, aviation experts sounding the alarm.
Sooner or later, we're going to lose an airplane due to a collision.
Friday, a drone spotted just 100 feet below JetBlue Flight 1834 from Port-au-Prince, about to land at New York's JFK Airport.
It was one of those four-bladed drones, but color or direction, I'm not sure, ma'am. It just popped right underneath.
Just more than 2 hours later, in the same area, again, a drone coming dangerously close, this time to Delta Flight 407 from Orlando on its final approach.
What altitude would you say that was? I would say about 100 feet below us, just off our right wing.
No one was hurt, and investigators don't suspect foul play. But the serious concerns about drones highlighted again Friday by the Department of Homeland Security, telling law enforcement agencies we cannot rule out that adversaries in the homeland would be able to use these to support illicit or violent activities.
Oh, yeah. Another non-story.
Well, this is the new normal. Anything you want to forbid or regulate or just get rid of altogether, you just say it could be used by ISIS.
It could be used by ISIS.
Podcasts could be used to radicalize in the homeland to radicalize ISIS supporters in the homeland.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're going to see.
Well, something's going to stop us.
Yeah, eventually. Okay, back to podcasting.
Yes, now we're okay. Wow, this is the Shaggy Dog opening. We're 54 minutes show. It's one long Shaggy Dog story.
Yeah, and with no punchline, which is the best part.
Well, there may be a punchline. We don't know.
Okay. So
you went to Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, which is separate from Dallas.
Yes, it is. It's quite a distance, and there's a big amusement park in between the two cities.
Which is Six Flags over Texas?
I think a stadium.
Is that Six Flags?
Yeah, and it's a dynamite one. Yeah. They have the Texas Giant, which is this is a roller coaster. I've been to this place a number of times, and I keep going on the stupid roller coaster called the Texas Giant, which looms on the horizon, something like if you're leaving Paris and you see Chartres in the distance, because this thing is so huge. And you go on this thing. Every roller coaster has they were more part of the Shaggy Dog story. Every roller coaster has a personality. And this personality of this coaster is, I consider it to be a very mean, poor. It's a mean-spirited. That's it, mean-spirited roller coaster. And the funny thing is, halfway through the roller coaster, there is a spot way up in the air where the roller coaster slows down. It goes really slow and it's just straight. There's no ups or downs. There's sides back and forth, just very slowly. And then there's a tower with a guy in there to look to see if anybody on the coaster is dead.
Do you know this for a fact?
Yes. So then the coaster starts going again with...
Hold on. Stop it on the tracks. We got a dead one.
So the curves and all the stuff that it does is all computer designed, so none of them are natural. So it's not like
hold on. I feel something coming. ISIS hack on roller coaster.
That has to happen. I think that was actually done in the Scorpion show. I think there was a hack already.
That is a good public scare tactic.
Yeah, well, anyway, so this coaster, when you get off of it, you say to yourself, at least I say to myself, I'm never going on this miserable roller coaster again. It is no fun.
No, and you're a coaster guy.
I've gone on it. I keep going on it. If I go back, I will go on it again because I figure, maybe I was wrong. But I won't go on it 2 times in a row like a lot of people will.
Oof. I don't go on coasters at all. I'm not a fan.
A lot of people don't like.
Not a fan. But I think it would be good. It would be a good scare tactic to They could
take over the coaster.
Wired could. Well,
why
Wired
would a coaster be on the internet? Who knows?
Well, Wired could do a whole feature story on how they hacked the roller coaster. This is what Wired loves doing.
Well, anyway, so that's the layout. Fort Worth is where it's always assumed that the richest people in Texas actually live in Fort Worth.
Well, the Fort Worth Convention Center does not portray that richness, I shall tell you.
Well, they don't wear it.
No, it's kind of... but it was held at the Omni Hotel in Fort Worth. And I've always resisted going to these events. One, because I have nothing to say, really. I don't think I can add anything. I don't like doing it. I don't like speaking in public, and especially when people say, "You're the Podfather, you should do it." No, I don't think so. And you should sponsor it. No, I don't think so. No,
that's not going to happen.
No. But
eking out a living here. Give me a break.
Exactly. I don't know if this is the second year they've done this, but anyway, best podcast conference I've ever seen. Because I've seen a lot of how they've been put together. And what was nice is the banners and the integration of the signage, right down to the room keys. I think Gary Leland, I guess, he really had it all. It was well done. We have the podcast moving on the keys and everything.
It was professional.
Professional, yes. Yeah. When you walk into the lobby, they have big support pillars, presumably to hold up the building. They were wrapped with signage, professionally wrapped with signage. Just dynamite. Well done. Now, what I noticed is that most of the attendees, the ones that I spoke to, and also based on what I was seeing in the way of vendors, this was people who were already the attendees, podcasters who were already kind of on the road and looking to either upgrade their technical skills, their presentation skills, or maybe even their video skills, though it seemed to be a lot more audio oriented. There were made in USA microphones, which when I asked further, kind of designed in the USA. Okay, China, gotcha. Which you would have enjoyed. You would have enjoyed some of these stories about the caps and the transformers and that kind of stuff. But also the sessions themselves. There's always the 10 sessions about how to monetize, how to make money. But what blew me away, I know. I was
watching some guys doing a podcast about that, and he just leaves out half the ideas.
The awards, and of course I went to the awards in Vegas, which was, when you have the education category up on the screen and the word education is misspelled, you have a problem with the awards.
That was in Vegas?
That was in Vegas.
Education misspelled?
For the education category. And but this was professionally done. And I would say the number one reason it was so professional was the host, Colt Cabana. You know this guy? He's a wrestler?
No.
Yeah, Colt.
Maybe.
Yeah, Colt Cabana. I think his story is that he was a wrestler in the WWE, fired him because they said, you're not cosmetically, this is what he said at least, you're not cosmetically pleasing enough to be on TV. And so he started podcasting, and he now does these kind of underground illegal, or I'd say alternative underground wrestling matches, which are, what he said, pretty popular, and obviously in Japan, and he's doing very well with that. But this guy was funny. He was loose. He was just a great host. And you have to be a certain kind of person to carry an award show. And he did a very good job. And so there were categories, awards, a lot of NPR shows winning awards, the NPR spinoffs, and also the guy from 99% Invisible. I forget all these names. Former NPR guy, funny. Just really talented people. There were a lot of talented people on stage, which was somewhat nerve-wracking for me, because my award, my induction into the Hall of Fame was pretty much at the end of the show, and the one thing they forget to do is you always need some little sing and dance number. Every award show needs a break. Can't just be award and award and award and award. You need have a band play anything. That's just a little tip.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, and so I accepted, and I thanked you. Did you see the speech?
I watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your commentary. I did make a note on Twitter because you said I was the funniest guy you know, and I said, well, he only knows Dutch.
No, you're the funniest guy I know.
And so the Dutch, I compared to the Dutch.
I don't know a lot of people.
It was a gag to get the Dutch riled up.
I got you. I got you.
That's funny.
I got you.
It's a little
and you did
funny.
No, it's not.
Sorry.
You did give a shout out to Leo, and I get the biggest kick out of the first comment on the YouTube page.
Well, hold on. What I did was I thanked a number of my fellow inductees who were the ones who I knew. I thanked Todd Cochran, because that guy's just relentless in running the Raw Voice and Blue Brewery Network. Scott Sigler, who is now a New York Times bestselling author, and he's built an entire category around podcasting and authors. And Leo Laporte for proving to us that television can be online. And I said podcast. I didn't want to bring in the netcast thing. And so what was the first comment on the YouTube video?
On the YouTube page that showed your video, the guy said, that was nice of Adam to call out Leo Laporte after all the mean things Leo has done and said about Adam over the years. So people do notice.
Oh. Well, he hasn't done a lot of mean things.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he has.
I don't watch it all that much, so I don't know. And then at the end, which you could not hear because of just the poor quality, which is just the distance from the sound source and Sir Gene's recording device, I did what you told me to do at the end. I held the award up over my head and went, "Go podcasting!"
I was wondering what you said because I saw you do the thing at the end, and I couldn't hear it, and I thought you said, "Hello, Cleveland."
No, go podcasting. Yeah. I did it. Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah, it's a nice award too.
Looks like it.
I had to pack it in the suitcase, but it has a very sharp point. But I'm sure that if you just jabbed your finger on the end, it would break the skin.
Huh.
And I figured that the TSA would not let me take that through hand luggage, so I had to put it in the suitcase. So it was nice, and then met a couple of people who've still been around, and Horowitz was. Here's another thing.
Horowitz was there?
No, Horowitz was nominated, but I had no idea that there were not. I don't even know how this works. All I know is I had to sleep with all these people who said they were from the Academy of Podcasters to get into the Hall of Fame. But otherwise, I don't know how they did this or how the voting was done. But to me, it was telling that in most of these categories, there were podcasts that I knew of. So like Horowitz, Rock and Roll Geek Show, there were multiple, and I would be, yay! I'm the only person clapping. No one knows these older podcasts. No one's heard of them. At least not the crowd in the room.
No, it's all trending toward the repurposing of crappy NPR material.
Yeah. Well, some of it's repurposing, but some of the newer stuff,
Yeah, but it's still done in the same exact style. It's like if you're in that industry, if you're in the public broadcasting industry and you're doing a podcast instead of actually getting something on the air,
right.
I think you consider yourself so you're a loser.
That's the way the industry would like to set it up, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in the industry, that's the way you're going to think about things.
Well, my main quote, which people picked up on, I'm happy about that, is podcasting has overtaken broadcasting, which is true. All the broadcasters are moving towards podcasting. So who's on the winning edge of this?
Well, there you have it. I think you're right there.
Yeah. So people picked up on that. Anyway, it was fun. Nice seeing everybody. I saw Luria, Callie Lewis. She's moving to Portland, apparently.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know why that's worth a wow.
It's worth a wow to me because I know her well enough to know that her in Portland is just like, I know Portland, and you're talking. Watch the show Portlandia. I don't know if she's going to be able to
fit in
at all. She's bubbly. She has a lot of that kind of energy that's not Portland energy.
And there was one other thing that Colt Cabana said, which I found telling. This show was sponsored by, I don't know, Stitcher and the whole bunch, Pod bucket bean sprout.
Pod bean
pod
and
bucket
Stitcher.
bean sprout. and we still have not learned, all these names missing vowels. It's just, podtastic. But clearly absent was MailChimp. Why were they not sponsoring? Don't they sponsor all of these NPR podcasts?
I don't know what they do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Serial and 99% There, or Invisible. Yeah, all sponsored by MailChimp. But they weren't sponsoring the awards or the show. I don't know. Just a point of interest.
I'm sure if you did a deconstruction of the whole thing, you'd find all kinds of complaints.
Yeah. But it was nice. It was a professional show. I liked it very much. And next year,
you got your award.
I got my award.
You got the Has-Been Award, by the way. Lifetime Achievement.
No, it was not a Lifetime Achievement. It was just the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. It's a little premature, seems to me.
Are you going to buzzkill my my recognition?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm
such a
doing.
dick.
This is a rowdy crowd. Come on, guys. You're in my house. Hold on a second. No. Hey. Okay, you know what? Shame on you. You shouldn't be doing this.
Now, this is Protal V sent us this one, and Random Number Theory, Benjamin Garlock sent his own version.
The same thing?
Well, different. It never ends. It just never ends.
The first of I like both of them, but the first one, which had the thing, which had Obama's commentary at the end, as though you were making fun of him.
Yeah.
I thought that one is a genuine gem.
I can't wait to find out what we'll have for the next show. What an imagination. What an imagination.
And all of this is just some guy saying no, and hey.
That's all you need, apparently, to write a hit song.
For modern music, yes, I think you nailed it. 4
chords and no, hey. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., killing my Buzz Dvorak. Oh, that would be a kill.
Well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning, all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and nights out there.
In the morning to everyone in the chat room, noagendachat.com. Already, I'm not going to say it. All right. Hey, chat room. Yeah, already off the rails, exactly. In the morning to Riday. I don't know, would it be Riday, Riday, the artist for art for episode 743, and this was the misgendered episode, which had a beautiful piece of art. Now, this is what we got from the Evergreens, because we pretty much had no submissions. We had like 3 pieces.
That was very odd.
It was odd.
But it marked the end of July. It made sense to me in some way. The July was bad. So we're starting to we got to catch up.
Yeah, it was a beautiful piece. You can see everything at the Art Generator. And some people haven't understood this who are new listeners. The way it works is during the show, we stream this live, and you get the show you're hearing is unedited. It's exactly the same, except we started the show over this morning because of the connection.
Well, the show is, I would say, 99% of the time is unedited.
Yeah. There's rarely. If something breaks or it's just not.
And then we moan about it endlessly. Oh, we got to take that out.
Or my Tourette's takes hold and I start cussing and swearing and yelling. We usually take that out.
You usually leave that in.
Yeah, sometimes. That is then submitted during the show and right up to the end of the show at noagendaartgenerator.com. This thing is worth looking at. It's just every piece is beautiful. There are things that are incredibly funny, which just don't apply or not fit for public consumption often, even by our standards. And you can find that at No Agenda.
Yeah, we should mention that it was coded by Paul Couture, who is one of the first artists that worked on the show and then retired and decided to put this generator up.
Sir Paul.
And it's coded in, I don't know,
Headless Drupal.
It's
Headless Drupal.
It's a Drupal product.
Headless Drupal.
It's head Drupal.
Head Drupal. Okay.
I don't think it's headless. And It's good. It's a nice product.
It is.
And it makes people, it's easy to submit. Most people don't use the Generator Factor has a bunch of templates you can drop art into.
Right.
But most people that get their art on nowadays have designed the piece from scratch.
Yeah. And this is the point in the program where we like to thank, and I discussed this at the during my speech, where I said the most important thing is your audience. You have to connect to an audience. Your audience are no longer mindless drones just sitting around picking their nose, listening to you or watching you.
Right, like the PBS listeners.
They are micro units of production, such as what you just heard, the jingles for us, feedback loops, retweeting, promoting, supporting.
And we like to promote the top executive and associate executive producers. Anyone who gets over, we haven't cut out 333, but usually over $300 they get executive producers. We have a bunch today.
Oh, nice.
Thank goodness for August and the Blue Moon. Cynthia Hickson comes in at the top from Sugar Land, Texas with she's now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, she is the first Instadame.
Oh, nice.
I don't know of
Cynthia,
another one.
Do we have a note from her?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good.
Okay, if I can.
Instadame.
She's an Instadame. She says, as much as I hate the reference, so she said, I don't have to read all this, by the way, so I'm going to read parts of it. As much as I hate the reference, I hate to admit that I've been a douchebag for a long time. I'm sending you this check to become an Instadame for my birthday on August 2nd. I will be 64.
Oh.
I've been pondering for a long time what my name would be. I'm known for my tenacity and persistence in solving problems. I could use some serious job karma. Rumor at work is that there's going to be a 10% layoff beginning in August. Ooh. That's today. Being a mechanical designer for 20 years and living in the Houston area where almost everything is oil related doesn't help matters. Or I could use some lotto karma so I can retire and stay at home with my husband and make sure he does his exercise. My husband of 41 years can't work since 2008. And she goes on about that. So it's the VA, and she's having trouble with the VA. Goes on about that.
Go figure.
Anyway, thanks for the sanity you guys deliver twice a week. She says, something you might want to look into. On the way home from work one day, I was listening to NPR, and a gentleman was talking about people born between the 40s and 60s who were in the workforce in various positions like military mechanics and artists. They were coming down with Parkinson's from chemical exposure, and how it was different than normal Parkinson's. Well, seems to be a lot of evidence that there's different kinds of causal factors when it comes to Parkinson's. And for one example I know of is that around paper plants, which have a very distinctive stench, paper mill, there's pockets of Parkinson's that is abnormally high.
Really? What do you think that's attributable to? Is there something in the mill process that sends
that would be my guess. There's a couple of noxious chemicals that come out. That's the ones that, from what my having inspected these places, stinks. And it has a certain kind of stink that just does not bode well for, I wouldn't live anywhere near one of these things. And that's one of the problems with Port Townsend, Washington, is although the wind blows the stench of this toxic smell to Seattle, the wind shifts every once in a while, and the next thing you know, you're smelling this crap in Port Townsend. I think a long exposure of this. There's also some evidence that long exposure to certain non-sugar sweeteners.
Like aspartame.
Yes. And then there's also, in the period of time when Michael Fox was a very popular actor and a party animal, there was some heroin and other drugs, maybe cocaine or some other things that you might run into at a party that had some contaminants that apparently...
Sorry, what was the address of this party?
It was somewhere in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
That might have a relationship to early onset Parkinson's, because a bunch of this was studied. And I always believe...
Wait. So you're saying cocaine and heroin can also lead to Parkinson's?
Contaminated.
Oh, well, most of that stuff is cut and contaminated, isn't it?
I don't know.
Come on. put like laxative and stuff in.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something you shouldn't be breathing.
Yes.
Anyway, so there's a
you
lot
shouldn't be breathing heroin and cocaine. That's the bottom line.
Parkinson's a real problem.
Yeah, it's shitty.
In fact, the funny thing is,
is it really funny? Am I going to just laugh hilariously?
I say it too. Thank you. Well, anyway, let's thank our that was Cynthia Hickson.
Well, let me give her the jobs karma, which she asked for.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
There we go.
Sir Michael Mugler in Fort Knox. I thought I put Tennessee down. There's not a Fort Knox, Texas. I think it was just mistyped.
Okay, could be.
He sent it in his mail in. Mm-hmm. Anyway, for Fort Knox, 747. Now, he wants to be the first member of the 747 Club in advance of show 747.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be named a 747 Club member. And he says...
Yeah, we'll remember this for sure.
I think so.
Okay.
Is show 747 being supported by Boeing? Or any stories from either of you on the hump deck of this plane? I figure I better get into the show club with a show number donation.
Okay.
Quick. This is a random note, by the way. Question on the upcoming Star Wars movie, December 2015. Princess Leia, I have read that they are getting Carrie Fisher in shape to reclaim the role. Do you think this could be a proxy for Hillary Clinton? Or at least the idea of the next president to be a woman? He said, and then he has Pocahontas Jedi tie-in.
Okay, yeah, well.
It seems like the movie's already done, yet they went for December versus 4th of July weekend release date. Was that as far back as Disney was willing to release it? Keep the good work. Knight Michael Mugler. P.S.
Thank you, Knight.
I'm not sure if there's any past clip dealing with the Boeing 747 to play with this donation. No, I don't think so.
I've written it down, and my system should tickle me appropriately to make you the 747 Club member in 3 shows from now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Be Anonymous from Sunnyvale, California.
There we go. Oops, sorry. That one, yep.
This is Be Anonymous. I was triggered by the Obama Nana and Hey Hey Goodbye jingle and just had to donate. Congratulations to Adam on his rightful induction to the Academy of Podcasters Hall of Fame. Anecdote. No, it wasn't the end of the next sentence. Anecdote. Bernie Sanders is gaining support from my millennial peers like wildfire.
Yeah.
He favors student loan forgiveness. Flying votes.
That's how it would work.
So their support makes sense since they're given hundreds of thousands of dollars of many of them carry. They are burdened by it on top of the habitual underemployment, perhaps the coming default of much of the $1 trillion student loan debt out there would be the basis for the 2017 collapse predicted by Dvorak's cycle theory. Please send out a douchebag for all of the douchebags not donating to support the show. Douchebag. Every little bit counts, and the loss of the BPITU would be crippling. I say crippling. Also, to further cement my donation-triggering jingle programming, please play Obama Na Hey 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 Goodbye. I see something, say something jingle for a safe trip to Europe this week. Love, Be-nonymous.
Now, this is Be-nonymous. We have Anonymous, Be-nonymous, J-nonymous. So we're looking for C-nonymous next.
Yes, we're looking for C-nonymous.
Is this the one? No, that's not. Is that the one?
I think so.
No. It's Na Hey Hey Goodbye. Well, I'll play this
one.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I have the other one somewhere. We'll play both.
No. Hey! No. Hey! No. Hey! Hey! Listen. Hey! You're in my house. Hey! Shame on you. You shouldn't be doing this.
That's funny. Oh, man, I hate this.
As a general rule, I am just fine with a few.
There we go.
But not when I'm up in the house. No. Hey. Can we have this person removed, please? Hold on. Can we escort this person out?
If we see something, say something.
And I'll give him a karma, too.
You've got karma.
There's so many of these jingles. I'm losing track. Album to drop soon.
That was for Be Anonymous, and I have to, unfortunately, since I rebooted, I have to bring the spreadsheet back up, which only takes a second.
Okay. One.
And the machine is not that it's slow.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad about this. It's not good.
That's okay.
All right, let's go on with our fellow executive producers and associate executive producers. Next is Sir Paul Schneider in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, 33333. And he just wants to be credited as Sir Paul Schneider, which we just did. I'm donating because of the new Obama Mexican No 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 song. It cracked me up.
Okay, you know what? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hey! No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no. Hey! Come on.
Excellent. Thank you, Sir Paul Schneider.
If this continues, we'll have an hour's worth of material.
Uh-huh.
Sir Scoops in Aurora, Indiana, 33333. Hey, Heil. Every slave who does not listen to the donation segment is a douchebag.
Does that mean you have to call him out? Yeah, might as well.
I think so.
Douchebag.
Parliament douchebag check.
Oh, hold on. Douchebag check. Yes, we got one of those for you.
Douchebag check.
Lisa needs braces.
Douchebag check.
Lisa needs braces.
I don't know what that's about.
Sir Scoops.
All right.
Executive producer, No Agenda, episode 735, the best podcast in the universe.
Thank you, sir.
Derby Dyke, which I think is a fantastic name.
Derby Dyke with you, everybody, here on Z100. Patty Steele's up next.
$250 from Tucson, Arizona, and no note, no email, nothing. So
Derby Dyke here with Bubba the Love Sponge.
Brian Ferguson in Foothill Ranch, California, 23456. Barely going to make the cutoff. Thanks for the great shows. I need more job karma.
We will give you some jobs karma right now, my friend.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Right on.
Jennifer Loveberg, another DJ name, 23333 in San Marcos, California. Dear Adam and John, thank you very much again for the best podcast in the universe of the dog days of August, and love the two of you. I am close to knighthood, damehood. Please let me know. I want to send you to the bounty from northern Mexico. Please send me an address to send oranges, avocados, macadamia nuts. Muchos gracias.
Can you send? Oh, she'll send a photo next time, she says. Jennifer Loveberg, here with Bubba the Love Sponge, Patty Steele, and Derby Dyke. We are the Morning Zoo.
Ha ha ha. Dame Astrid Klein, or Duchess of Japan.
Yes.
Yeah, 22222.
Nice.
Sure. Many congratulations on your podcast award, Adam.
Thank you. Apparently, it's a has-been award.
Yeah, that Lifetime Achievement Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many awards do you have, John? Do you have a Pulitzer?
I have one.
What do you have?
I have the best columnist of 1980. Many congratulations on your podcast award.
It's almost as old as your Lexus.
You look good on stage, and the speech was great, simple and straight. The way you mean it, but elegant too. Actually, you were very. You look cool.
Thank you.
You look like was that a tuxedo jacket?
That was a. It had a little fringe thing on the lapels. Yes.
Yeah, you look classy,
suave,
and you're tall, and you look good.
I was going for the suave, sophisticated look with the glasses and everything.
Yeah. I think it worked.
Yeah.
Elegant too, giving credit to whom credit is due. Though a little disappointed you not thank your mum. A big thank you to you too, John. As without you, with this very fine combo, there'd be no best podcast in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to you both with a highly recommended glass of totally locally produced Chardonnay. Sitting here on the terrace in the sea in Sicily.
While
I'm gazing at a blue moon. I'm now understanding the meaning of once in a blue moon, as it happens that there are two full moons in the one calendar month. Ironically, next one's in 2018, by the way. Ironically, great timing, Adam. And finally getting recognized as I sit here in it seems more beautifully orange, red than blue. And yes, I'm getting a bit tipsy.
Dame Astrid getting hammered.
drinking Chardonnay in Sicily. But before I forget, a thank you also to Sir Gene for making the video of Adam's speech for all to see.
Thank you. Thank you, Dame Astrid.
What's she doing in Italy?
She is originally from Italy.
Oh, I did not know that. I wonder what Chardonnay she's referring to specifically.
She will now tell you.
Sir Christopher Walker, Baronet, in De Pere, Wisconsin, 20102. Adios, July, and hello, August. Here's a hoping to greater donation levels this month. Congratulations for Adam's recent recognition at the Academy of Podcasters Awards and Hall of Fame. Thanks for poking fun at the puppet show and doing so with style.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
What do you mean?
What puppet show?
The puppet show. I don't know. The puppet show. I don't know.
Let's do the awards. The awards, I guess.
Yeah.
Additionally, thank you both for sharing stories from your personal lives with all of us. Would you please play for me the Obama Cucaracha, Too Delicious to Believe, followed by Little Girl Yay, ATEOTDBPITUTYFYC.
Got it.
Okay, you know what? No. Hey.
It's almost too delicious to believe, my friend.
All right. Perfect.
And finally, Taffon Madison, another DJ name.
Taffon Madison here. Oh, gosh.
Brooklyn, New York. $200. Hey, John and Adam, thanks for the best podcast in the universe. Adam's acceptance speech pushed me over the edge, so I was compelled to donate. Go to more of these shows, Adam. Can I get an ISIS theme song followed by a Mexican Obama? No, boy, man, that thing got popular.
Which ISIS theme? Was there any particular?
I think the Gates of Hell.
Ooh, okay. That's ISIS in America. Since we've played the thing 3 times now, should we do the Mana just to mix it up a little bit?
Sure.
How? ISIS. We will follow them to the gates of hell. ISIS. I feel good.
No. No. Hey.
You've got karma.
Yeah, alrighty.
Well, after a long delay in the middle there, I want to thank all these producers and executive producers. I remind people we do another show coming up.
We do.
Next Thursday, it seems. And we got August off to a decent start. Let's keep it up.
Yeah, thank you all very much.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And as I mentioned in my acceptance speech for the Has Been Award.
You don't have to keep harping on this. But everybody knows that when you get a Lifetime Achievement Award, it's it's a subtle hint to quit.
Is that what you want? Is that why you brought it up?
No, I'm thinking that's why I was disappointed. I would have welcomed.
It was not a Lifetime Achievement Award. It was a Hall of Fame. It doesn't mean you're dead. It was just Hall of Fame. It's different.
Yeah, but most Hall of Fame means okay. Let's stop. Hall of Fame generally refers to people who have retired. In fact, in baseball, you can't get the Hall of Fame award until you're retired for 5 years or something like that. You have to be out of the game.
Okay.
So this is like a subtle way. I think they've done this. I think these people have done this on purpose.
Are you telling me that they only did this just to get me to the show?
They wanted to.
That can't be possible, John.
Well, I'm not going to go into that.
Don't believe that
but
for a second.
They want both you and Leo to quit.
All right, everybody. There you go.
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's the easy way to get me to quit. Just stop supporting us. Don't support us, please. Don't do that at all. Or you can always go out there and do the very important work of propagating the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave. All right. And contrary to what we said previously, this show has been edited. We took out about 10 minutes of John
Yeah, it blew up.
Blowed up stuff. It's blowed up stuff.
Blew up my connection for some reason.
So on the way back at Dallas Love Field, which is not really handy. This Virgin Air flies to Love Field and not to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is a great airport.
That was solely owned by Southwest.
It's Southwest and Virgin. Those are the only two there, as far as I could tell.
Oh.
And so on the way, it's a beautiful airport. It's modern. It's great. And
I like it.
You know, we've been following Venezuela kind of on the sideline because it's been hard to really get a grasp on what is happening. But I met Pablo, and Pablo has a shoe shine station there in Love Field. And you know me, I'll talk to anybody. And so Pablo's shining my shoes. And I say, hey, where are you from? He says, Venezuela. I say, oh, a lot of shit going down there, because that's all you have to do. It's like whether you're an Uber or whether you're having your shoes shine, a lot of shit going. He said, and Pablo has a degree in HR. That's why he's shining shoes in the great state of Texas. They confiscated his farm. He had 100 head of cattle. He said he had like 200 acres. And they just came in with their AK-47s, confiscated his farm. Then he had to leave. He escaped. He came to the United States.
When was this?
A year ago. He's been in the States a year.
This is since Chavez.
Since Chavez died, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And he says there will be a civil war guaranteed. And
what was the rationale for stealing his stuff?
They just wanted his stuff.
Wow.
He says that's what's happening everywhere. He said first his neighbors, and he purchased the cattle from his neighbor's farm because the guy had to leave because they were maybe it's some form of, you know, quote unquote eminent domain. Then so he purchased the cattle from his neighbor, and he's 63. I might add. The guy was, you know, kind of semi-retired, just had cattle. He's enjoying life, and then they come in with their AK-47s and kicked him out. Well, I think they did pay him something like $200 an acre. Poor guy. But he said, this is going to be civil war. So I'm very sad about my country. I don't think I'll ever be able to go back.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's a good one, but. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it's a good catch, but it's because we have had nothing but trouble. We get a lot of notes from some people that are expats from the area. And they're, you're not covering it right. You got it wrong. This guy's bad. He's a horrible person. And this guy's, you know. And
do you have any idea? Can you?
I have I think you've gotten the closest so far. You're the one that's walked it that far. I ran into, like we talked about, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not, but I did meet John Perkins, the economic hitman guy. And I asked him specifically about Venezuela, and he couldn't tell me anything, which I was very disappointed in.
I've been looking at the latest news from Greece and the bailout, as now it appears the IMF will not, the International Monetary Fund will not be putting any money in, which, as far as I understand, makes the possibility even of a bailout or a fifth injection of cash pretty much impossible. And I've been looking at this German bank, the German state bank, the Kreditanstalt für Wiederaufbau, which is the KfW Bank. They're the ones who have the $15 billion worth of Greek state assets, such as ports, airports, highways, and I think also offshore oil rigs, gas rights, pretty much everything. And what strikes me is that this is the Wolfgang Schäuble, who, when we had the reunification of East and West Germany, he was the one who negotiated the terms. And Schäuble, of course, is all over this deal. And I think we've discussed this on the show because it was a great documentary. I have to find that again, how that worked. It was they set up the Treuhand, I think was the name of it. It was the same idea. It was a bank or a holding space where they put all of the East German assets in to prepare them for privatization. And then, you know, like a whole bunch of things happened. There was was it the CEO, I think, of Deutsche Bank? People were getting assassinated and all kinds of weird stuff was happening. But they are doing an exact repeat of Schäuble's idea for the reunification of East and West Germany. They're running it through this KfW bank. And it's a no-win situation for Greece. They'll never win, and I don't even know if they have to give them the $50 billion. I guess the assets are already with the Germans. This is a very, very bad thing that's happening, and no one's covering this about the KfW bank. I'm surprised about that.
We have to start covering it then.
Now, and I did look into the KfW. You'll recall that they sent $350 million to Lehman Brothers just like a day before the collapse. I understand what that now was. That was a margin call. These guys were really exposed to Lehman Brothers and the 2008
said they pay to get out.
They had a margin call, pay to get out. So that was also Germany getting the shaft on that. So they're probably here, getting their druthers.
I've noticed that the Greek coverage has fallen off the radar where they go on and on about Cecil the Lion and the bullcrap story about his brother.
His brother, which there's no evidence this is actually true.
Actually, I have a clip.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Thank goodness.
Cecil BS add-on story.
First Cecil, now perhaps Jericho. There are conflicting reports that the brother of a beloved lion hunted and killed in Zimbabwe has also been shot dead.
The beloved lion. Oh, beloved.
The Zimbabwe Conservation Task Force says a hunter operating illegally gunned down Jericho the lion today. But a researcher who tracks the animal by GPS claims he is alive and he is moving.
He's alive.
He's alive and moving. So, this is what I heard, too.
Why is there a story if the guy who knows this lion has got the tracker on him and sees the thing moving around? Does anyone say this story is just bogus?
Well, I think kind of as predicted the minute we talked about it on Thursday, reports coming out about Trump's kids, the big game hunting douchebag sons.
Yep.
Showing all their trophies, their dead leopards or whatever it is. What do they have here? Is it cheetah? No, leopard, the one with a dead leopard. I love the Trump kid.
I like that band, by the way, Dead Leopard.
Okay, you get one for that.
In the morning.
Donald Jr. posing with the tail of the elephant. I love that picture. With there's like sinew but strands of goop dripping out the bottom. It's a fantastic photo. And so Trump is now also defending his. So part of that, I think, is what it is. But it seems still more like it's meant to cover up the Planned Parenthood videos. And
it's a dual purpose.
It is. Well, it's great. It's just great. So they'll even lie to bring in Jericho, his brother, which there's no evidence, no true report. And even I have a couple of news reports, no clips, unfortunately. But Zimbabwe itself, the Zimbabweans, according to local reports, are saying, what lion? This is Acting Information Minister Priska Mupfumira said, what lion? After being asked about the death of Cecil. They don't care. They're all happy. They're happy that money comes in. They're happy that big game is... preserving or conserving.
This story could have been definitely created out of whole cloth.
I wish I knew the genesis of it. There is an outfit that is propagating this, and it's, what is the name of this? There's something like the Zimbabwe. I tried to find out more about it, but I just...
this one's going to be tough to get to the bottom of.
Yeah, but there's an NGO based in Zimbabwe with some guy named Jeremy something or other. I'm sorry, I can't find it offhand.
It's okay.
Yeah, but I wanted to find the genesis. I'd love to know who came up with this first, and then maybe derive, was it just out of the blue, or was it meant to obfuscate Trump's successes and make him look like a douchebag, or to cover or paper over the Planned Parenthood video? So there's a fourth.
It was a tight timing, so I would be more inclined to believe the Trump douchebag thing was the real target. It just coincidentally stepped on top of the other story.
Well, the Planned Parenthood, the reason these videos are coming out is apparent to me now, because Health and Human Services is in front of the Senate right now. In front of Senate, justifying their new budget. So the timing of those videos coming out in order for a bunch of senators like Rand Paul and who else? Dr. Ben, who's not a senator. He's a presidential hopeful, and Cruz, all coming out and say, we're going to defund Planned Parenthood. That timing is impeccable. So now we know why these videos were timed to be released right now, without a doubt.
I would agree with that.
And I have a clip here from Josh Earnest, spokeshole for the White House, who, of course, is defending Planned Parenthood in a very, very sad and pathetic way.
Curious, has anyone at the White House watched these videos from Planned Parenthood, about Planned Parenthood?
I suspect somebody has.
Somebody has.
Where are you getting your information?
You know they're all looking at it. You know, be like, hey, it is a hand. I can see a hand. The latest video, John, which is, it's getting thin because they're re-editing, they're putting in pieces from previous videos. And you can't hear it. They have to. It's not audible enough to play it as a clip. One of the people stirring around in this pie dish on the light box, looking. Oh yeah, and you hear a crunch. I swear to God, that's. Hey, look,
I wonder if that was sweetened.
You hear no. Oh, if only they should have done that. But you hear the crunch, and oh yes, I've got the brain. So they just crunch the skull. And then this is the pie dish. It looks like just a pile of gooey vomit. And then they're poking around, and then one of them actually says, "Oh, look, it's a boy." Like, come on. It's in the show notes if you have the stomach for it.
And the fact that
I'm not going to watch it.
No, but I watch it, so you don't have to. That's what the No Agenda show does.
Glad that you do.
Unlike the White House, apparently, we do watch these.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, maybe somebody has. Yeah, I guess so.
I suspect somebody has.
I suspect somebody has. I haven't.
Where are you?
I wouldn't watch that vile crap.
Getting your information, the fact that it's fraudulent, or the fact that they're distorted and edited unfairly?
Based on the public comments of Planned Parenthood, who has indicated that the views that are represented in the video are entirely inconsistent with that organization's policies and with the high ethical standard that they live up to.
Since when does our governing body, when an organization that the governing body funds is being accused of misappropriation and egregious practices, since when do we just say, well, they said it didn't do it, good enough for me?
So would it be unfair to say that you're simply taking your talking points from Planned Parenthood on these videos?
Well, again, I guess I would suggest that you consult with Planned Parenthood for the details of their policies. And I'm merely repeating what I've seen that they've said and has been reported publicly about.
Yeah, but that's how the news works. You just
talking points.
Just merely repeat it.
What they've said. But I'm certainly not the only person to arrive at this conclusion. There are a number of others who have taken a look at those videos and raised significant doubts about their authenticity based on the way that they
find the raw feed.
Yeah, he says based upon their authenticity of the editing of the video. It's disgusting what this guy's
about their authenticity based on the way that they were edited.
Yes, highly edited.
This is the worst meme. Our local stations are all the same. Nobody watched. You can, if you're a reporter working for a news media, you can find the whole video.
And it's not, you can watch the whole video. It's boring.
You can watch the whole video. Yeah. You don't have to watch the edited video. You can watch the real video. And you're going to find that it's not highly edited,
no.
Deceptively edited.
Dishonestly edited.
Dishonesty, those are all the different words. Yeah, it's just a meme.
And they certainly are consistent with the frequently stated policy of Planned Parenthood.
No, they're not. I watched the raw video. No, they're not.
And I think that's why many people who've taken a look at this situation have arrived at the same conclusion and described the videos the same way that I have.
And finally, has any representative of Planned Parenthood contacted members of the White House about these videos? Have they raised the concern about these videos with the White House?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's taken place, but I'm not aware of any specific conversations.
No, not aware of any specific conversations.
Yeah, he's useless.
Yeah, well, I find it... I just can't believe that these guys just repeat whatever is said. They should, at least should say, hey, we're going to look into it. Well, actually, the Senate is looking into it. And the Senate had this is the budget conversation with our new Health and Human Services Secretary Burwell.
Oh, Hangdog.
Hangdog is looking a little ragged.
She always does.
Yeah, but her hair...
She looks like... You don't want to pick on her because she looks like a beaten woman. I think it's been on purpose.
Her hair is all dirty and stringy and hanging.
Yes, I know.
That's nasty. Oh, did you see this?
Looks like she's going to break into tears any minute.
Did you see any of this testimony?
No, I did not.
All right, so we'll start with Senator Roe. Is this the Roe from V. Wade?
It might be.
See, I don't even know this. I should have looked
Could be. You
this
should have looked it up.
Recently, we've seen 2 videos that showed Planned Parenthood physicians basically having wine and eating a salad, bargaining over the harvesting and sale of dismembered baby parts. I found this incredibly offensive to me as a physician and as an obstetrician. Have you seen those videos?
I have not seen the videos. I've read the articles about them.
Well, how can these people not have seen these videos?
It's ridiculous.
It's got to be a lie. It just
They're
has
lying.
to be a lie. Yes, lies.
Last week in the Wall Street Journal, they reported that you couldn't comment because you hadn't seen it, but you need to see those, Secretary Burwell.
Now, this guy's an obstetrician. So
this is a House, right? Yeah, House.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Representative Roe. Yes, you're right. It is not Senator Roe.
As quickly as you can, and it's only 8 or 10 minutes, but you need to look at those videos and see what the rest of us have looked at. And given Planned Parenthood, which I think is horrific conduct, Americans may be troubled to realize that Planned Parenthood gets over $500 million a year through much of it through your shop, through Medicaid and Title X funding. Having said that, with a significant financial relationship, could you tell us what you've done to investigate these activities?
So first, I would just because it's so related to the budget issues we're discussing today, the RAC issue and the backlogs. We have put together a strategy that includes. It's just because it is such an important issue in the appeals. So I just want to make sure there's a budget issue in terms of extending the number of people that we can.
Do you hear this? This is all about the budget. This was perfectly timed.
Have to review the appeals because there are legal judges that we have to bring in. Second, there are statutory changes, and on the Senate side, a bill is moving to make changes that will help us in third administrative actions, including settlement. So I just want to.
So there's something going on that we haven't been told. There's something on the Senate side with changes that are being implemented. Something is up.
Raise that because it's important. I want to go to the broader issue that you've raised. With regard to the issue, I want to start by this is an important issue that people have passion deeply on both sides of the issue, and whether that's the issues of in the issues of research that are important for eyes, degenerative diseases, Down syndrome, autism, or the issue of belief. And I want to start there.
Whoa, that went pretty quick.
That was interesting.
She says whether it's for your eyes, to fix your eyes, or Down syndrome, or religion.
Yeah, well, it says there is a lot of debate going on about forcing certain religious groups to have to do things against their.
Like vaccinations in California.
Well, vaccinations is one good example. By the way, Roe of Roe versus Wade is Jane Roe.
Different Roe, I know. I looked it up. Yeah, I looked it up. But it's interesting because we could still have a Roe v. HHS, and just to throw it in there, just to bring back Amin. For the Secretary of Health and Human Services to say this is about saving people from horrible degenerative diseases or religion. It's fuck you, lady.
With regard to the question,
because my time is about up. I want. Have you had any contact with Planned Parenthood yet?
With regard to the issues of Planned,
yes.
Just say
I'm
yes.
sorry.
With regard to this issue, this sale of the.
Planned Parenthood's funding and the $500 million that you mentioned, I think, is a number that is a state number. And with regard to Medicaid and
she thinks, but I think not.
States, those are issues with state. With regard to the amount of money,
41% of their funding comes through the federal taxpayers. And let me just say before my time runs out, because we are in limited time, I found it absolutely amazing to me that Planned Parenthood could complain about a woman having an ultrasound before she terminates her pregnancy, and then uses an ultrasound so they can harvest body parts to be sold for fetal tissue. So I found that absolutely astonishing.
Now this guy is on board because that is a talking point from the makers of the video. So I'm thinking that some of this was coordinated. This guy's an obstetrician. He has the same talking point about Planned Parenthood lobbying against.
I think you're right.
Okay. Then we have Congressman John Klein, a Republican from Minnesota. Then what are we going to do? We're going to investigate. Well, this is just kick the can over to the left.
That the Department of Health and Human Services has no intention of looking into this matter.
What the Department of Health and Human Services will do, and we didn't discuss it today, is with regard to the issue of our grantees, and in the Department of NIH, the part of HHS that does our research, there is funding with regard to grantees, and some of those grants actually use fetal tissue. With regard to that, what we are doing is making sure that what we do have in place, which is clarity around the issue of the fact that for any of those grantees that are going to do that research, that as they come through the process and before we do the grant making, there are terms and conditions that clearly list what the law is with regard to fetal tissue. They need to assert and certify that they understand the laws and that they will abide by that.
I promise.
And then on an annual basis, with regard to when they re-up the grants, we ask them to certify, again, that they will obey the laws and the terms and conditions of which this is a specific place. So with regard to the piece that interacts with the department, these are steps that we are taking to make sure that we have appropriate procedures in place to make sure that people know the law and certify that they are abiding by it.
And so the activities which have been so abhorrent to so many of us that have been revealed in these videos that are the actions of Planned Parenthood, you believe that is solely a matter for the Department of Justice, is that correct?
With regard to the determination of if a law has been broken, in those cases, that is the Department of Justice. If there are any concerns at all with our grantees, we would want to refer that to our IG and or the Department of Justice, depending on those circumstances.
Okay, so there should be an investigation as far as I'm concerned. And having seen all these videos, and I find them hilarious, I can't help myself but just laughing, because it's the cavalier attitude that is so disturbing. And I know in the medical profession, people talk, I know in emergency rooms, they give patients names of vegetables. So it's like, hey, can you go check on carrot in 5? Because they don't often. Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you would get this from someone who works in that arena.
That's correct. That's correct. So.
Only on No Agenda.
Only on No Agenda would you know that patients in the emergency room are named after vegetables for obvious reasons. Some of them actually are vegetables when they come into the emergency room. It's clear. It's sad, but it's what it is. But when you hear them talking about, we hate it when the patient gives birth right before they do the abortive procedure. And they say, oh, we don't want that. We hate that. I don't know why.
It's all ghouls.
It's ghoulish. It is. It's just ghoulish. So the cavalier attitude, part of it is just the medical profession, which is understandable. But the ease that they're talking about changing procedures and and what tissue's good and be careful.
Less
crunchy. Hey, I got a brain. Look, I got a brain. Oh, that's great. It's a boy. Woo! We got another boy. I swear to God. Yeah, it's not really great.
Right. Onward. A couple of things that I've got picked up. But since we're talking about the government stuff, I ran into this clip with Tom Wheeler, and he was giving testimony. He's the head of the FCC.
Yes.
Giving testimony to some, and I don't have this other guy's name, but somebody set him up with a question that was a fake question. And Wheeler knew, and he kind of glorified the question. He made a fuss as though, it's about time somebody asked me this. So they asked him this question this guy wanted to ask, and the guy actually embellishes the answer at some point in there. And I want to talk about this because Wheeler was just joyous that he had found a way to cut, extra work out of the processes going on in the FCC. But what he really revealed was something I think quite sinister that nobody has ever picked up on.
What you're doing to provide greater information to consumers, including improving transparency and accountability, standardizing forms, digitizing the process, including the submittal of documents?
Boy, am I glad you asked that question.
As we know, these questions are usually handed out beforehand, and it's all it's a scripted show.
You both support that effort? Yes, Commissioner Pai? Yes.
On my first trip to our consumer operation in Gettysburg, I saw in the corner a humongous machine that the staff proudly announced to me could take 17 different forms and put them into one envelope. And I said, well, why are we sending out 17 different forms? And they said, well, because that's the way we do it. So you contact the FCC on a robocall issue, and we will send you the form for robocall, as well as the form for loudness on commercials, as well as the form for every other kind of complaint we get. And I said, wait a minute, we can do.
And then those forms are required to be sent back.
And and I would talk to consumers, who would say, what am I supposed to do with this? Which form am I supposed to use? So we now have totally updated it, put it on the web. We just won a prize for being one of the best government sites, consumer interface sites on the web.
Huh. All right. Key point. You complain about something, they send you 17 forms about other things you can complain about. And according to the guy asking the question, he throws that in, and they're required to be sent back. So what I'm looking at here is stuffing the ballot box.
On all issues.
On all issues that you've chosen.
Good one. Slow clap.
You have chosen that you want to do something about loudness of TV commercials. So somebody bitches about something they're bitching about, and you throw that form in anyway, and then require them to send it back. So you'll probably complain. And now, when you're talking in front of Congress, I think Wheeler's an idiot, by the way, for bringing this up. So now when you talk before, we've got 250,000 comments about commercials that are too loud.
Right.
Now, I would like to know what the other 16 forms were, because I'll bet you every one of them is in the news at one point or another. But these are bogus. Huh. So we're getting bogus complaints that the FCC can use as leverage when an issue comes up. Oh, we've gotten 100,000 people have written in about this. I was appalled.
FCC IT team wins Federal Leadership Award for Cloud Computing from the Association for Federal Information Resource Management's Leadership Award in Cloud Computing.
What does that mean? But
I'm not sure.
We don't need.
Which the acronym is AFIRM, Association for Federal Information Resource Management. AFIRM. And it is the information technology team developed the Consumer Help Center, eliminating the previous paper-based system in favor of an online system. So I'm pretty sure that you'll have to go through the same amount of questions online. Which
there'll be something fishy about. One of the two of us, or some of our producers, are going to have to go through the process and find out what crap they're pulling on at this level.
But I'd like to know what the Association for Federal... Who runs that? Who's handing out awards? Are they just handing out awards to themselves as usual?
Doesn't everybody?
Let's take a look. AFIRM, AFFIRM, affirm.org. Let's see. About us. Where's the about? About AFIRM. Let's see who's running this. A nonprofit, of course, volunteer educational organization whose overall purpose is to improve the management of information and related systems and resources within the federal government. They must have leadership. Here we go. Leadership. Who's in the leadership? It doesn't really even say. Oh, here are their partners. Thomson Reuters, Newtek, Mason Harriman Group, Primescape, L3, Oracle. This is the industry giving itself an award for how great they are at using government money to build $250 million websites that don't work. Great job, everybody. We won an award. Fuckers.
I was talking to my producer friend that works for NBC. Yeah. Apparently, the Caitlyn Jenner show did not perform as well as they had hoped.
Oh, really?
I thought this was interesting.
Ratings, I don't think they promoted it well. Now, is it only on E?
Yeah, it's an E show.
Let's see. I have the Variety here from 2 days ago. DVR playback.
See, now this is the little. I want to.
This is the gotcha.
Turn everybody on to the new scam.
Yeah.
Which is the ratings called L3.
Yeah, +3. Isn't it +3?
Well, it's in the business. It's called L3, but in the nomenclature that you'll read, it says L+3. And L+3 means and there's L+7. There's L7 too, but
nobody's had
to resort to that. So L3 ratings, they said after the L3s came in on the Caitlyn Jenner show, they were a little relieved, but they still weren't happy.
Yeah, I have. So it's actually the live +3 L3 estimates. I Am Kate averaged a 1.78 rating in 18 to 49. That's roughly 3.9 million viewers overall. The 1849, that's bad. That's low. But for cable, it's good. That's up 54% from its Live Plus same day numbers. It ranked number 11 among all broadcast and cable primetime series for the week in the coveted 1849 demo. Huh. So people just don't care that much.
I don't see why they would.
Well, there was enough. I think they overhyped it. I think I
think you might be right. It burned everybody out.
I think they went too hard, too fast. Yeah, I think so. Whereas the real funny stuff is on Fox and Friends. Now, on Fox and Friends, is that Natalie Morris's husband? What's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, that guy.
Jake? Jeffrey?
No, it's not Jake.
Pete?
Oh, man, I know him, too. It's embarrassing. I can't say his name.
What's his name?
In a second.
Morris. Clayton Morris. The good old Clayton.
Clayton Mine.
Now, I wonder what the conversation is at the Morris home. We know Natalie.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say that you, in particular, and I helped coach her during her first video appearances. We helped her with her hair, with her look, with everything. And you in particular.
Yeah, I did.
Yep. You identified her as a perfect, and she was working at TechCrunch.
The perfect multi-culti host.
Exactly the kind of girl we like to see.
Yeah, you don't know if she's Italian. She could be Mexican, Puerto Rican.
You don't know. It's perfect.
You don't know anything.
If only her eyes were a little more slanty, she'd be really in the pocket.
She's just cute. She's so pretty that she had a lot going. But she's always was a little
mean.
I don't know if mean's the word.
Yeah, she looks like a mean girl. A little bit.
She might be.
I'm not saying she is. It just has a little bit of that mean girl look to her. It matters not. So Clayton's on the show with, who's the a-hole with the bow tie?
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
He doesn't still wear the stupid tie. Because they're becoming kind of supposedly in vogue again.
I think he has the bow tie. Yeah. Ever since Bill Nye is back on the scene. Yeah, the bow tie is back. So they have this video, and they're just laughing about what happens in the video, which to me, I don't know, it was ghoulish.
Yeah, we have some other stories making headlines this Saturday, so we'll tell you about that. A dose of instant karma for some would-be terrorists. Watch this. Tucker loves it. Okay, I guess it is funny. This video is airing on Syrian television. A terrorist suicide belt reportedly exploding by accident. The men reported to be from a Syrian-based terror group called Takfiri. They are said to have claimed responsibility for several attacks across Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq.
So you see this video of a bunch of dudes sitting on a couch, and they're I don't know what they're doing. They're singing, and then all of a sudden there's a big explosion. These guys are blown to bits.
Hilarious.
And you see, and Tucker Carlson is laughing. Clayton's laughing. It's so funny. I fail to see the humor.
Hey, I don't know. There's some elements of all the scene that I don't get, but.
You mean the Fox scene or the
whole showbiz
scene? Yeah,
news.
Yeah,
showbiz news and comment. It's always so shallow. I mean, you brought it up when you had the Molly on earlier in the show, buying a good lock, stock, and barrel, buying some.
And she works for NPR, does she not? She works for a professional broadcast organization now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was watching the one of the shows on one of the networks, a podcasting network, and they were so all in on this hacked car, which we debunked on our last show.
Yeah,
it's just like it's embarrassing to say everybody just wants to be. I mean, it's this robot-like thing that it's just a miracle. I think that the No Agenda show even exists. To be honest,
I do want to say that Sir Gene was a little bit irked, and he was kind of beating me up over it in Fort Worth. Because I guess he had tweeted you about this hack being completely possible, and maybe you didn't know that it was him, but you said, "Oh, some bonehead on Twitter tweeted me.
No, I know Gene's tweets. It was someone else. And it was a very mean-spirited, un-Gene-like tweet.
Because Gene has the car that was hacked, and he says absolutely possible. Of course it is. If you're done with knowledge from the manufacturer. Inside job. Knowledge from the manufacturer.
Hey, Gene, you're telling me that some guy sitting in his couch out of the blue and get your identification IP or whatever it's going to be without doing anything to your car at all and hack it and drive it around? Are you kidding me?
Oh, this is not... Trying to smooth things over here.
Well, no, I'm just saying that's what I was bitching about with this other guy. Yeah. He was alluding to the possibility that his car could be hacked remotely, just out of the blue.
Right.
So driving along, some poor dude. Holy shit! I can't drive. The car's being driven by me, and they're taking me into a truck. That's what I don't know. Is that what Gene says?
No.
Okay. Well, that's what I was bitching about.
Okay.
I'm sure Gene knows something about these things being,
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And I take his word for it.
But there are still, I'm not buying any of it.
Well, no, it's an inside job. We agree on that. But all these, now we have what is it?
It's like if somebody, it could happen. Sure.
Well, what we see consistently around DEF CON time, we have the conference in Vegas, where these guys are presenting, these guys who are shills, who were paid to do this with inside access and $80,000, and everyone was in on it. We also now have that rifle that can automatically adjust itself to hit the target every single time? Oh, that's hackable now, too. Another fine Wired story. It just goes on and on and on. And the only thing I can conclude is it's all intended to have more money made available as these stories propagate through the idiot Congress, who are all in on everything. Just believe everything, like stories about the heat dome, etc.
The heat dome.
Now I have a story from an alternative media source, but it is a real news organization. They're on the ground. It's a very long video, about 15 minutes, on something that's happening in Haiti. Haiti, of course, is my wheelhouse. Ever since the earthquake in Haiti, which I had questions about to start with, don't want to diminish anything with my theories on that. But we know that the money didn't arrive. It was stolen. It's gone missing. We know the Glinton Foundation is implicated in the missing funds. All kinds of shit going down, and literally shit because the blue helmets of the United Nations came in, gave everybody cholera, and there's still hundreds of thousands of people living in tents. But to make it just a little bit better, here's what they're eating.
They look a lot like pancakes or cookies. The recipe passed down from generations here in Haiti. Women spend entire days making them. Grandmothers, daughters, and younger girls. Infants are nursed while mothers work the mix. Kids seem to enjoy them, at least when our camera was around. But these patties, known as bonbon terres by the Haitians who eat them, are a grim reminder of just how poor this Caribbean nation is. They aren't sweet, they're hard to swallow, and add almost nothing in terms of nutrition, because the cookies are actually made of dirt. The United States ambassador to Haiti has taken a personal interest in lessening dependence on the cookies.
Now, hold on. So they're eating dirt, and it's in the show notes. You've got to see this video. They're stirring up dirt. Now, they do add a little bit of...
Any leavening?
What is it? Leavening? Is that to rise the dirt?
Powder?
To rise the dirt? So the ambassador...
It's terrible.
The ambassador, of course, is very concerned, you'd think.
I've actually taken members of Congress down to Cité Soleil, and they've seen it too.
What do they say when they see people eating dirt?
Well, it's worrisome.
Hey, that's pretty worrisome. They're eating dirt. They're eating dirt.
It's very worrisome, and we don't like to see it.
Since the UN arrived in Haiti in 2006 as peacekeepers, nutrition has improved in pockets, but the dirt cookies are still being eaten. The widespread hunger means hundreds of kids starting another school day in Cité Soleil, as the Haitian flag is raised, will be reduced to eating dirt.
This is the worst story ever.
I love this report.
And where's Clinton's money? I mean, let's send some flour down there or some rice or something. They have to eat dirt just because they need to fill up on something?
Yeah. I remember this, though.
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
That's right. Just send your cash.
Yeah, so send dirt.
So
I got a screwball story similar.
Kids can eat dirt. Hey, remember we had the big concert that Clooney organized and Bon Jovi and everyone. Oh, we had a great time. We all texted in our money, and the Haitian children are eating dirt.
Yeah, good work.
Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, you were all over that.
Yeah, everyone changed their Twitter icon. We should just change it to dirt. Do we have
a nice brown icon?
Well, they're beautiful. They slap down a piece of mud with a spoon, and then they swirl it around so it looks kind of like a discus. Something you'd throw, a discus to throw, and then they just dry it out.
Well, they use poop for that.
Telling you. All right,
I got a story that I thought was unique, which is the Afghan boy-girl story, and I'll discuss what's strange about it. Well, just play this and we'll talk about it.
Basha Posh. It's a secret third gender in Afghanistan. To the contrary, spoke with Jenny Nordberg, a journalist and foreign correspondent who uncovered the hidden Afghan practice of raising girls as boys.
A bacha posh is a girl who is dressed up as a boy and brought up as a boy, essentially. It means literally dressed up like a boy in Dari, which is Afghanistan's second largest language.
Norberg discovered this practice almost accidentally while working on a story on female parliamentarians. When interviewing a politician named Azita, she was introduced to Azita's son, who the family later explained was actually a girl.
If you're without a son, you're seen as weak, and you're not only seen as weak, you are in fact weak, and you may have a harder time negotiating a loan or getting a job or getting real estate. This is think of a very old, traditional, conservative, patriarchal society. So then if you don't have a son, it's almost better to make one up.
Before Nordberg's research and investigation, nothing had been written about this tradition. She turned to international experts. They were skeptical that the practice existed.
You have to remember that this is one of the most conservative societies on earth.
The story itself was interesting to a point, but what got me about this story is that this has never been discussed. It's never been written. And all these international experts, and they showed a bunch of buildings of all these Afghan, help Afghanistan groups and all the rest. Some people with the microphone. This doesn't exist. Nothing like this exists. In other words, the experts, the sociologists, the anthropologists, I'm not sure what you want to call them, advertising, these experts didn't have a clue about this, which tells me they probably haven't got a clue about anything. So why are we dealing with it or doing? It's beyond me that we even involve ourselves with these people, the experts, that is, or the Afghanistanis for that matter.
I think Ryan Seacrest is just a brilliant guy. He's expanding this format everywhere. I am Fariba. Nice, good work.
Anyway, so I found it a very annoying clip. There's another good one. Baltimore, which we talked about on and off. I was thinking they're doing everything they can to get rid of the mayor. And now we have this story cropping up, the Baltimore murders.
The number of homicides in Baltimore soared to a level not seen in more than 4 decades. 43 murders were recorded in the month of July, making it the third most deadly month in that city's history. At the same time, non-fatal shootings have reached 366 this year, compared to 200 at the same time last year. The spike in killings comes 3 months after riots erupted in response to the death of Freddie Gray, who died in police custody.
Yeah. There's a big Twitter war going on between the hashtag Black Lives Matter and hashtag All Lives Matter, which is just disturbing to watch.
Yes, it is. Well, the whole thing is disturbing. But what's going on in Baltimore, besides trying to get rid of this mayor, they've already gotten rid of the police chief. And I was thinking that this whole thing was about that. And we have to remember that murders in the United States have been on a steep decline for the last 10, 15 years. And she's saying this is the most in 40 years, which tells me one thing, which is the obvious real conclusion you can draw, is that the cops say you get arrested a bunch of our brothers for this trumped up, thing, this accident that happened in the back of the van.
Yeah.
We're going to do here's the kind of job we're going to do for you. If you want to let things get out of control, we'll just back off.
I think it's time for the true hashtag, which I think should be a no agenda hashtag. We should have Art Ford, etc. The truth of the matter, and I said that specifically, is no lives matter. Hashtag no lives matter.
That's very funny.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
We do have a few people to thank for show 744, including Crocutta Computer Services out of Pacifica, California, $100. Lon Baker, Parts Unknown, $100. Guy Boazy. Boazy, thank you. $99.99. He's in Illinois, or he's in Israel, I'm sorry. Just finished reading the newsletter earlier today. Producers, please read it. Pre-producers, read it. Anyway.
It was a fun newsletter. I like the subject. Cute kitten pictures.
It was a cute picture, don't you think?
Yeah. The one kitten attacking the other. It's great.
Yeah, it was cute. It was kind of thematic. Mm-hmm. Christopher Foster in Houston, Texas, 8282. This is a good note. I have to read this. I have just read some detail about your analysis of NASA's Kepler mission. It's show 742. I've talked to some engineers at Ball Aerospace who built the satellite. His main detector is not a camera, such as you would see on a spy satellite, which we were joking about. Mm-hmm. Okay. Its sensor is a light meter, and it measures small variations in the light of a star. Based on the magnitude of a drop of a star's light, the Kepler team estimates the diameter of a planet that is blocking the light from a star as it crosses in front of it. And based on the duration and frequency of the drop in light, they can estimate the distance of the orbit. Anything else NASA reports about the planet is complete supposition and fiction. There's a new big giant planet we can all live on.
Yeah, it seems like a waste of money to me.
And it was like the Kepler that was found this planet, but now we find out that that's not what the Kepler does. So that's more NASA lies. NASA lies. Christopher Foster, they want money. It's the way apparently they have to do it. You have to lie, get more money. Christopher Foster in Houston, Texas, 8282.
Yes, sorry.
Brett Harrison in Ontario, Canada, 8215.
Now, this was part of the Welcome August, Goodbye July donation amount, which was $81.15.
Right, and these right. 81. Brett, because it's the second of the month, he made it $82.15. And we did get a number of people that jumped on board on this $81.15 donation, which will continue for a couple more weeks. Brian Leslie in Bremerton, Washington, $81.15. He says, now that it's August, I can donate again.
Yay, hey.
Jason McKinney, Sugarland, Texas, 8115. Sir Thomas Nussbaum, our buddy in Virginia Beach, Virginia, 8115. Courtney Jacks, another disc jockey. That's a great one.
Courtney Jacks in the afternoon.
Courtney Jacks in Memphis, Tennessee, right there in Showbiz Central. Mm-hmm. Sir Skits in Phoenix, Arizona, 8115. Sir Steve Taft in Marietta, Georgia.
And he is indeed, he becomes a baronet today, I believe, does he not?
I believe so. Yeah.
And he is also a No Agenda ham, Kilo Alpha 1, Whiskey X-Ray. 73s.
Timothy Pettigrew. We have a lot of hams. Timothy Pettigrew in Lahaska, Pennsylvania, 8115. And Josh Mandel in Greenville, South Carolina, 8115. Gavin McMahon in Oklahoma City came with 7777. Alan Haas in Windsor, UK, 7531.
He says his wake-up call to donate was having the Bin Laden's plane crash into an airport a couple of miles from where I work. That would be Blackbush. Message received, he says. Donation sent. Okay. All right.
I have a clip of that.
Shall we do it?
Bin Laden crash.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, play it.
I did analyze it.
And we turn now to politics. 17 Republicans in the race for the White House, and tonight another Democrat may be on the horizon.
Think that's it. That's a Joe Biden clip.
Joe Bin Laden. I'm sorry.
Biden may run.
Oh, well.
British investigators are trying to determine why a small private jet crashed while trying to land at an airport in southern England, killing 4 people. The plane was carrying 3 relatives of Osama bin Laden when it crashed into a parking lot at the end of a runway. Police said they were Saudi citizens in Britain for vacation. The pilot was also killed.
Do you want my analysis? Because I've looked at it, of course.
Do you want to do it after?
Yeah, we can do it after. No, do it after. It's fine.
Let's do it after. It sounds like it's a teaser.
No, it's a teaser. Okay. Sure.
Well, maybe it's not.
Maybe not. No.
Nathaniel Friedman in Draper, Utah, 69. Renee Music in Charlotte, North Carolina, 66. Mark DeWitt in Saudi Daisy, Tennessee. Is it really Saudi Daisy? That's a great name for a town. Dame Veronica Roberts in Boise, Idaho, double nickels on the dime with Stuart Fawcett in Liverpool, UK, 5510. Howard Abraham, Rochester, Minnesota, double nickels on the dime. Thomas Gruzka in West Seneca, 5133. Ryan Young, parts unknown. He says, you guys make it hard to watch regular news. I got a clip coming up that'll be a great one. That was 5133. Ryan Young, I'm sorry, that was Ryan Young, $50.25. And then Eric Knoll in McDonough, Georgia, 5023.
Yeah, it's Airstream Karma 23 Delta. Thanks.
Oh, well, that story's got to come to 4 too. Kenneth Learman, is it L-I-E-R-M-A-N?
Learman Jr., I think, yeah.
And Junior, San Diego, California. These are all $50 donors.
He says, greatest cat pick ever. Oh, the show's pretty okay, too. There you go, everybody. You want to monetize your podcast? Kitten
cat
pictures.
Pics.
Podcasting plus kittens equals win.
Justin Bieber. Oops, I'm sorry. Justin Barber. No such luck. $50 from Los Angeles. Stephen Milliken, $50 parts unknown. Luke Middlemoss in Harrisonville, Missouri, 50. Keith Powell in Swansea, Newport, UK, 50. Raleigh Hawk, these are all 50. And Anna, Illinois. Shane Razdilski in Saskatoon. I won't say anything. 50. Eric Miller in Norwalk, Connecticut, 50. Brian Morton in Casper, Wyoming, 50. Stephen McDonald, Cortland, Ohio. And finally, our buddy Sir Mark Tanner, who's here all the time, at 50. And last but not least, Sir Paul from Horseheads. And that concludes our great donor list for show 744. I want to thank them and all the people who donated lesser amounts. They're also on the list that have comments that we read to ourselves.
Yeah, and, these thank yous are what keeps the show going. And this is why I thanked everybody as being responsible for my podcasting career that is now over. As
You're retired.
I'm retired, everybody.
Dvorak.org.
You got a lot.
What?
Guys, you got a lot left in the tank, my friend.
Okay. Happy birthday to Cynthia Hickson celebrating today. Jim Wasson, August 11th. He's way on time. Christopher Foster will be celebrating. Brett Harris says happy birthday to his daughter Candace Harris. Gavin McMahon, 27 on August 3rd. And happy birthday to the Knight of the Bohemian Grove, Joshua Dale. And Candace Harris. Oh, we already said that. Candace turns 23 today. There you go. Happy birthday from all your friends here at the best podcast in the universe. It's your birthday, yeah. So we had on the list twice, but that's okay. It's all good. We have one upgrade in peerage. Sir Steve Taft becomes baronet, and we congratulate him. As we grab our blades here, we have one, a daming today. Our sword. Hello, sword. Sword.
Yeah.
Sword.
Stock.
Hello. Okay, well, good. Cynthia Hickson, come on up, Dame Cynthia. Very, very happy to bring you into the table that is round of the Knights and the Dames. And very proud to pronounce the KD as Insta-Dame. We say, hello, Dame Cynthia. For you, we've got hookers and blows to wanna, but certainly Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Cuban cigars and single malt scotch, librarians and Jaeger bombs, opium and warm orange juice. We've got hot pants and booze, long-haired heavy metal guys and scotch, maybe more for you. Or geishas and sake, vodka and vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts, breast milk and pablum. Or perhaps you just want to go for the tried and true and tested mutton and mead. Go to noagendanation.com/rings, and Eric the Shill will hook you up, get you taken care of, yo. Okay, the jet.
The jet.
So I know Blackbush Airport. I have landed there and taken off from there. It is right next door to Farnborough Airport, not far from Fair Oaks, where back when the money was good and I had a real job, where I had an aircraft. Good times. So this is an Embraer 300. It needs the entire runway to land. This is not a very long runway at Blackbush. And the thing that is curious to me and other aviators is if you have Farnborough right next door, why would you land at Blackbush, which I think their runway is 1,029 meters. The Embraer pretty much needs 990 meters as a full landing and roll. So you'd be at the end, and it seems like pilot error, just a bad day. And
maybe he just identified the wrong airport. That happens with commercial pilots once in a while.
That happens a lot. It certainly happens in that area, but according to the ATC transcripts, everything I've seen, that did not happen. He just floated. He floated over the runway, saw he wasn't going to make it. There is no overrun area. This has been discussed many times. It was a car show that was taking place right on the other side of the fence.
My car!
It seems like the pilot wanted to do a go-around, but he was too late, didn't have the speed. The undercarriage clipped the fence, and he never made it, and just, disintegrated right into the earth right there. So a day wrecker is what we call that in aviation.
Day wrecker.
Bad day, sir. Bad day. As much as I'd love to bring in all kinds of conspiracy theories,
can't do it. That's what we do on this show. We go with what we've got.
Yep. We do.
We don't start making stuff up like some of the other shows. I do have an interesting clip, though, I want to get out of the way.
Okay.
This is the New World's Record. This is a guy who's being interviewed on one of the shows. He is the strategist for the Democratic National Committee, I believe. And he may be the strategist for the Republicans. Never mind. He's a strategist for the Republican National Committee. And he has set a record for saying the end of the day. Somehow he's managed to do it. You'll see. Here, play it and you'll hear it now.
Final question, if I might, on the Donald. Thus far, as of right now, has he been a positive or negative influence on the GOP process?
Well, look, I think when we have 16 candidates that kind of are all over the spectrum on a lot of things, it's good for the party. And the reason I say that is at the end of the day, the more people that are paying attention, the more people that are involved in this process, it's good for the party. It brings more eyeballs. It brings more attention to the race. At the end of the day, whether it's Donald Trump, Ben Carson, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Jeb Bush, all of these people are bringing more and more people into the Republican Party, and some of them come from different perspectives, and it makes our party, at the end of the day, much, much stronger as we head into a general election.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we're dealing with a record of 3 end of the days within 27 seconds.
Yes.
In other words, because I had a time down, I look at Audacity and I've got it marked off. So he says at the end of the day, every 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
I was impressed.
Oh, but at the end of the day, they're backing him. They're backing. Come on.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, John, if someone wants to get anyone, they can get him.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's more important that we have entertainment.
At the end of the day.
So, at the end of the day, who's going to pay for the real loan? It's going to be taxpayer money.
At the end of the day.
Because at the end of the day, that's going to be up to Valerie Jarrett.
At the end of the
No, the guy is certainly not alone, John. But I will play the full end of the day clip as an end of show clip.
Good. And I think you used to, you don't say it much, but you used to say it, but not at a record clip.
No.
It may be twice a show, maybe.
I mean, I'm catching myself saying it's funny a lot, though. That's become
well, you caught
very...
me saying it on today's show, and I didn't know I was saying it. So there you go.
It's a little bit funny.
No, it's not.
That's the way it goes. Thanks, Fletcher. I caught something from Dempsey. Dempsey was talking to a whole bunch of kids.
I saw this, Dempsey and the kids, and then he sings a song.
Hey, wait a minute. That's a great children's TV show. And now, everybody, it's time for Dempsey and the Kids.
Okay, General Dempsey, how do you define your success?
I don't know.
He's so funny. I don't know.
Oh, you want me to extrapolate on that?
And he's sitting there with his full-on medals. He's got the Bakelite nameplate.
Yeah, he's got the Bakelite.
He's got the massive fruit salad on his chest.
Yes, please.
Okay. No, it's a great question.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not a great question.
It's not.
You know, it works at a whole bunch of levels. Obviously, the things I'm proud of about myself, although, you know, pride is kind of counter to humility, which I think is the greatest virtue of all in senior leaders. But I am proud of being a soldier, and not much more than that, meaning it's not about the stars.
I found this quite rich. That he's saying it's not about the stars. He is a 4 or 5-star general?
4.
It's not about the stars. As he sits there with his uniform, which he determines, we've been through this many times.
He designs.
He determines what he's wearing. It's not about the stars, but that's why his jacket must weigh 40 pounds with all that
Still
stuff.
Still not as bad as Petraeus. Come on.
Yeah, but the nameplate, the Bakelite nameplate and everything, it is about the stars, you douche.
Although that surprises people sometimes. But it's really not about the stars. It's, I'm proud of being a soldier, I'm proud of being a husband, and I'm proud of being a father.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you think failure plays a part in that success?
Now, this is interesting because, and I think it is interesting, he needs to think about it. And the question is failure a part of your success? And he has a very interesting way of buying time.
I don't know did you hear the question? Would you say something to make sure they can hear you?
Can you say something? Can you just say it again?
I like this.
Oh, yeah. He had to think about it.
Yeah.
And I believe this to have been scripted. I believe this to have been a planted question. This is why he's asking for it again. He forgot his line.
Sorry. Do you think that failure plays a part in that success?
Failure plays a part in every success. I mean, life, and you've experienced it already, I'm sure, overcome your own challenges and got back, it's like Chumbawamba. I get knocked down and I get up again, right? But I'm trying to connect to the kids here.
Yeah. That might have been their fathers.
Well, look, at their age, you don't want me to break out into Uptown Funk you up, do you? Don't believe me, just watch.
I think the kid show is good for him. I think kids like him. He's a leprechaun guy. He's singing. He's singing.
He likes to sing. He's always singing.
I've never heard him sing. Have we had him singing before?
Yes, a number of years ago when he had somebody clipped him out of it was like at some meeting or something, and he went into song. And on this thing, he went into his favorite song about a unicorn world or something at the end.
It's Uptown Funk.
And yeah.
Unicorn world.
He's Irish, so he thinks he should be singing all the time.
Where do you get that from? I don't have a clip of him singing in the archive, at least. But
I almost did keep that clip of him singing the thing at the end.
I wish we had that.
But it wasn't that energy. He's not that good of a singer.
No,
he kind of talks his songs.
No, he's not good at all. No.
So now there was a thing that somebody brought up shows and shows ago about Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan, who's been kicked out of the Wrestling Federation for something he said a decade ago. And
what did he say?
He used the N-word.
Oh, okay. So they want to get rid of him.
Our guy says to me, one of our producers, this is a cover-up, some smokescreen for something else. That is not even going to get any traction. I don't think it did get any traction. And I didn't think it was a smokescreen, but it came up again in the clips. And I said, there was a new term, a show title term that is in this clip, and I think we have to play it because it really invites a lot of discussion, at least in a long-term sense.
Hulk Hogan has been terminated, literally erased from the WWE website. All references to the legendary wrestler have also been scrubbed from the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Now, Hogan himself is speaking out about his sudden fall from grace, admitting to having made racist slurs several years ago.
A stunning blow for wrestling icon Hulk Hogan. The WWE has fired him following a leaked transcript in which Hogan uses the N-word because his daughter Brooke was supposedly dating a black man.
I'm standing here in the ring, right in the middle of all of you, and with another great hero of mine, Hulk Hogan.
The beloved wrestler wrestler who has famous fans like Arnold Schwarzenegger is now speaking out about his abrupt fall from grace. 8 years ago, I used offensive language during a conversation. It was unacceptable for me to have used that offensive language. There is no excuse for it. He goes on to apologize. I am disappointed with myself. It's not the first time Hulk has taken heat for using a racial slur. Listen to this interview clip from 2012 we found on YouTube.
You know, they're all, calling me. I'm like, and then I started saying it, and I always said it, but now all of a sudden I get heat when I say it.
We spoke to his lawyer, David Houston.
He is the first one to admit there are consequences for utilization of toxic speech. It is not who he is.
Hogan's daughter, Brooke, defended him today, saying, if you knew the dad I knew, you'd know his tender heart. The death of Sandra Bland continues to anger.
All right.
Consequences for using toxic speech.
Nice.
I just heard that.
That's a show title, Toxic Speech.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Very
but at the
nice.
same time, this is a horrible concept.
Yeah.
Toxic speech.
It'll become a law. You can't use toxic speech. It'll start in the UK first.
Exactly.
That's how it always goes. I caught a little quid pro quo thing that I wanted to bring up. We played on Thursday the clip where we had the prime minister, the foreign minister from Australia, the hottie, who is apparently universally hated, at least by producers of this show who checked around by Australians. They do not like her. They find her to be creepy. This was the United Nations Security Council vote for a tribunal regarding flight MH17, which was downed over Ukraine with the Dutch in it. And I thought the Dutch had initiated this, but no, it was Malaysia who initiated the tribunal vote. And no sooner did they do that, and of course we knew that Russia would veto it, making them look like a-holes, which is the entire point. No one expected this to pass and a tribunal to be created. But 2 days later, the State Department took Malaysia off a list of countries who have egregious human trafficking records, clearing the path for their participation in the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations. So I think this is a quid pro quo. Hey, show us that you guys really mean it. Do something for us, and then we'll take you off and we'll bring you into the negotiations.
Are you saying that you think that this, of course, this is a big, giant scam for this actual purpose of embarrassing Russia?
What, the tribunal?
Yeah.
Well, of course it was.
So the whole thing is just about, okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Snowden, if they keep him, this is going to continue.
Well, let's stick with F Russia and with Syria now. Very quietly, the two things that have happened. I don't know if you brought any of your clips. I think you had them on the previous show. There are two things that are not being discussed properly anywhere, as far as I can tell. One is we now have a no-fly zone in northern Syria. This is the start. This is what they always wanted. Yeah. They wanted the no-fly zone.
Yeah, because there's so many, because of the damned ISIS jets.
Yeah, those Toyota
Air Force that ISIS has. You need a no-fly zone.
The Toyota jets. So we have that, and then we have the Turks bombing the Kurds, and this is just not being discussed at all.
Well, one of the things that's not being discussed, and I do have a clip for this,
because I think I know what's going on.
Well, there's ISIS Turkey. What's one of the things? I want to hear what you have to say, but the one thing that's is not being discussed at all, and I've noticed even Amy Goodman won't mention the PYD.
What is PYD?
Well, play ISIS Turkey and the PYD.
Is that a Michael Jackson song?
Yeah. ISIS Turkey and the PYD.
P pretty young ding.
Angry. But I disagree with Frank in the following sense. I think the Turks are very much opposed to the PYD. They do not see a difference between the PYD and the PKK. When you look at the Turkish press, especially the government press and the press that supports Erdogan, these are the people who keep saying that the PYD is worse than ISIS, that if they had a choice, they would rather fight the PYD than ISIS. And when ISIS tried to overrun Kobani, the Syrian Kurdistan, Erdogan And the Turkish government made it very, very clear that they wanted the town to fall to ISIS. And when we supported the Syrian Kurds, Erdogan went after us basically saying, what's in Kobani? Oil, gold, diamonds? So I think the Turks may be telling us they see a difference between the PYD and the PKK, but they're not.
Okay, well, let me just magnify the idea that the Turkish government wanted ISIS to take Kobani. Because and the argument you make is that that's because they were allied with ISIS on this, and they'll ally with themselves with anybody.
No, not because they're allied. Not because they're allied, but rather because to them a Kurdish entity in northern Syria is anathema, because that essentially makes the Turkish Kurds stronger in their bargaining position in terms of the potential of having two independent Kurdish states, one in Iraq, one in Syria. That's the fear. That's a strategic fear for the Turks. ISIS is not.
Okay.
I found that fascinating.
Yeah, well, you want to extrapolate?
Well, the PYD is actually another Kurdish group that is it's a labor party of some sort, and they're nasty the way the Kurds in Iraq are, and they're allied in some ways with the PKK, but not like they're not the same group. And so somehow when we do analysis of this whole thing, we're not paying attention because the PYD is a distinct, different group. Then they're the ones that's the Kurds that the Turks have been bombing. And even though they do hit the PKK once in a while, but it's this other group that they're targeting because they don't want these guys because they think they may be a catalyst. Because there's three Kurdish groups. There's the one in Iraq, which we all know about. They don't have all these oil wells. And then there's the PKK, which we all know about because they're causing trouble in eastern Turkey. And there's the third one. I think it might be a catalyst so that whole area would be like a giant Kurdistan. And the Turks are freaked out.
I think what we're seeing, though, the Kurds right underneath Turkey there in northern Iraq, they're being corralled, as it were, off to the right. And then, of course, we have the ISIS strikes going, the no-fly zone over there, the northern Syria, which creates this buffer zone, which Turkey is keeping open. And I'm convinced that buffer zone right in between those two pieces is where Turkey is just flowing in all the arms, because, these ISIS guys, they need stuff. They need stuff to operate. They need ammunition. They need, supply lines.
Well, there was another couple of clips, which I don't have. I only have this one I brought forward, discussing how the Turks have made a pipeline of people.
Right.
In fact, if we paid any attention, which we've done, about what's going on in England and the United States, when people say, I'm going to go fight with ISIS, they always go to Turkey.
Yes. Then you can walk right down.
Escort them right down to the border, and here you go. You're in.
Yeah. And you can see it on the map. You can see this beautiful buffer zone where we just walk right down, not a problem, and you go wherever you need to go. And the pipeline, the people pipeline, supply line for ISIS is all I can imagine.
Yeah, because the Turks are on ISIS's side.
Why is this not being reported?
Well, that guy kind of reported it.
Not really.
Well,
okay, a little bit. All right. I just want to do a couple clips about the United States presidential run. I accidentally played your clips. I'm going to play it again right here.
And we turn now to politics. 17 Republicans in the race for the White House, and tonight another Democrat may be on the horizon, Joe Biden. While the vice president has not indicated whether he will run, an advisor tells our John Carl he believes Biden is, quote, 90% in. Biden has said he would decide by the end of summer.
Yeah, I'm quite sure he's in.
He's in.
This is apparently his dying son's wish for Joe to run. Joe's looking good. I like the way he comes down off of Air Force Two with his wife, the professor there, and Marianne. What's her name? Jill, Professor Jill. He's got the dark aviator sunglasses on. He's like striding down. You got to admit,
he's got the big smile.
He's got the big smile. He's got the head that can open up and come off. It's been opened a couple of times. They can put stuff in there, put a new chip in. This is ABC, who are all in.
This morning, Joe Biden isn't saying yes, but he isn't saying no to a possible run at the White House. His political machine is gearing up.
Hi, how are you?
ABC News has learned the vice president's chief of staff is quietly talking to Biden's supporters and Democratic donors, clearing the way for a possible presidential campaign. The vice president hasn't indicated yet if he's in or out, but it's no secret he's interested.
Yes.
Biden is an experienced campaigner.
So don't buy that malarkey.
If he runs, it would be his third attempt at the White House.
So give me a break.
But he's also had his fair share of stumbles.
Barack America.
Barack America.
Back rubs to BFDs. Biden is a gaffe-making machine. But those "oh, that Joe" moments are part of his political charm.
Ah, political charm.
He's a gaff-making or gas-making?
Gaff-making machine is part of his political charm, and I cannot wait. I would love to see Trump against Biden. Sparks.
You're living in a dream world, but I admire what you think.
Thank you, thank you. Well, then we go on to Deputy State Spokeshole. Man, ever since they got rid of the girls at the State Department, those press briefings are brutal.
Oh, they're terrible.
You know, you got, what's his name? The Schwammy guy, the Schwackham guy, the Kirby. And now this guy, Mark Toner. And he's going to try and run some interference on Hillary Clinton's emails, which now we know pretty much for sure they were classified. It was classified material. And she's a liar. She's a liar. A liar. Then Uma Abedin emails all over the place. She was overpaid and knew it. It's just it's a mess.
I want to necessarily relitigate that. I mean, that server, the contents are now being held with her lawyers in a.
I love that misspeak. Do you think you wanted to say conference room?
Play it again.
No, maybe confidential. Something's conference room.
Being held with her lawyers in a secure setting.
Conference room.
And she shared with us all of the contents that she deemed relevant.
Interesting point of order coming up.
And so we're going through those, but I don't want to.
That's not how the law works, Mark. I mean, USC 1924, how you're supposed to handle classified information, and neither Secretary Clinton nor her lawyer should have access to classified information from up to 5 years.
But again, if I haven't been clear on this, to date, we've not seen any classified information that should have been classified at the time.
Yeah, everything's been classified after the fact. These guys, just brilliant. Just brilliant. So Hillary is unelectable at this point. Just unelectable. Certainly if you ask Rudy Giuliani, Republican of the First Order.
But you can't run on your accomplishments as Secretary of State and not take a position on the Keystone Pipeline. I mean, this is absurd. This is like playing a game with the American people. And I think it is feeding into this very growing majority of people who feel she's dishonest. I believe she should be under investigation by the United States Attorney in the Southern District of New York for obstruction of justice, for destroying government property. I think it's
destroying government property because she deleted the emails, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice.
Clear that she had a conflict of interest. Her husband getting hundreds of millions of dollars. She's making decisions about companies and about corporations that he's getting money from, and I think they file a joint tax return. I'd have her under investigation for about 5 different crimes right now, and I think it's outrageous that the Justice Department is not moving forward with this.
Nice.
They brought Giuliani out as a hatchet man.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job.
He's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he did. He's a Galgat Milliken, and he's a hatchet man. That's what he was known for. That's how he got elected in the first place.
He's very, very good.
He was a district attorney, kick-ass guy who managed to be, was very intimidating. Yeah, and he sounds authoritative. If they're bringing him out, she's toast.
She's toast. She's toast. The story's coming out now in Daily Mail, which has a huge U.S. presence. We are on the lookout for a book from a, let's see, what's his name? Kessler, this guy is. Kessler. Who is Kessler? He is an expert on the Secret Service, means nothing, but his book is about the relationship between the Clintons. It is a relationship.
Didn't we have clips of this guy already? This book is not new.
I think it's a forthcoming book. Let me just check. I think so.
There is a hit book that came.
I think you're right. Was this Energizer?
I don't remember the name, but I do know that book came out. We had clips from him, and he is out to get the Clintons.
Well, he's his publisher or someone's doing a good job because he's there's more stories about they just have a marriage of convenience. And right along with that comes now the news that Huma Abedin, who I truly believe is Hillary's lover.
Yes, you've been very consistent with this.
And I would like to explain that just briefly so people understand. Huma Abedin is married to Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner was a councilman in New York.
And a pervert.
Hold on. And I interviewed him back in the day, in the MTV days. It was some genius idea by the cable gods who said, let's have this hip young MTV guy interview this hip young up-and-coming guy. Then we'll do that on CNN. It'll be really cool. So I was completely oblivious to all of this. But part of the package was for me to also interview Chuck Schumer, who has always been Weiner's man. He's been the mentor. The mentor, right.
And he was going to replace Schumer the way we saw it.
That was the idea.
Eventually.
That was the idea. And the way it worked is the Clintons, this is just my deconstruction and investigation on the topic. I don't have any actual proof, but Bill Clinton officiated their marriage between Anthony Weiner, a Jew, and Huma Abedin, a Muslim.
Right.
Interesting right there. And all he had to do was shut up, don't bump it. He was a made man. Just shut up, just play along. You could be your own little. He was arrogant too. He always had a big mouth.
Right. He used to run in front of Congress and then scream at them
because he thought he was all that in a bag of chips. And the whole point was, listen, you just keep up this fake marriage so that Huma could be, Hillary's lover, and we've got cover. You be the beard, just be the beard boy. And what happens with men? You're in a fake relationship. You're extremely frustrated because you're living a lie and you're not having sex with this beautiful woman. And so, it's like men, the blood drains from the brain and goes into your penis and you're I'm going to send some pictures.
And you got to show somebody.
Yeah, look at it. Look, will you look at this thing?
Look.
So I'm pretty sure that happened. And now she's being pulled into the controversy. Apparently she was overpaid, which is minor. Gee, someone in government being overpaid. Huh. Shocked I am. Who would have thunk that, right? And another important data point, as we both noticed Hillary's hair, how dynamite it looked at her most recent appearance. Her hair was done by John Barrett. He is the celebrity stylist. Now, we thought it was Pierre from Dessange in France, in Paris.
Yeah, she's got probably two. One of the articles I read about her $600 haircut.
Yep, that's the one.
Was that she does have a couple of go-to guys, and one of them is in Europe, and I believe that's the Paris guy.
Yeah, from Dessange.
But this guy's better.
John Barrett, who is his salon is at Bergdorf Goodman. I mean, you cannot have any more high end than Bergdorf. And he charges $600 for a cut and blow dry. But I'll say dynamite. Really, really look good. Oh. Okay. Then finally, this is rather interesting. This is Chris Matthews on MSNBC. And he was talking to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and she is the chairperson of the Democratic National, what is it? DNC Congress?
Yeah,
committee. Yeah, that thing. Who also determine who will be in the debates, who were part of the television committee, the voting committee. This is why it's all effed up in America, is if you can't get in the debates, if you can't get on television, or at the actual convention itself, if you're not on during prime time, then you don't matter. Bernie Sanders, he's a Democrat?
No, he's the independent. But he's running as a Democrat because he was a Democrat.
And Matthews has a question that that Wasserman Schultz can't answer. So I'll ask you first. What is the difference between a Democrat and a socialist, such as Bernie Sanders could be viewed?
There is no difference.
American people are with Democrats.
Okay.
They want to make sure that the president of the United States...
Do you want to see Bernie Sanders?
Not about me.
Okay, do you want to see Bernie Sanders speak at the Democratic convention, win or lose? You want to have him up there on the stage as a socialist representing the Democratic Party? Do you want him up there?
Bernie Sanders...
Do you want him on the floor of the convention?
Bernie Sanders has been a good Democrat. Caucuses with the Democrats. Of course he should speak.
Speak in prime time.
He should speak at the Democratic National
in prime time with everybody watching.
Bernie Sanders represents we are a big tent
So the
party.
answer is yes.
I did. I said yes. I can say yes again.
But in prime time.
I don't know what time he should speak.
Maybe when nobody's watching, you mean?
No, of course Bernie Sanders should speak. He should speak in a slot where the appeal that he has across the board, the progressive, populist message that he has that resonates deeply and widely with the American people, not just with Democrats, absolutely that should be featured. We're the difference between us and the Republicans is that we really are a big tent party.
Well, what is the difference between a Democrat and a socialist? I used to think there was a big difference. What do you think it is?
The difference between
a Democrat like Hillary Clinton and a socialist like Bernie Sanders.
What's the difference between being a Democrat and being a Republican?
Well, what's the big difference between a Democrat and a socialist? You're the chairman of the Democratic Party. Tell me the difference between you and a socialist.
The relevant debate that we'll be having over the course of this campaign is what's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican?
I think there's a huge difference.
I think you're right, John. There is no difference.
Well, Chris thinks there's a huge difference, according to him.
Right, but I thought it was...
I don't see it.
I thought it was cool that she just would not answer the question. Does this mean
there's no difference?
So you agree that the Democrat Party is the Socialist Party?
No, based on today's definition, it's the same. Progressives and socialists very similar. There's too many similarities to there's no way you can cut with a knife and separate the two. It's like Siamese twins.
Well, Bernie Sanders...
But that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm sure somebody else could weasel out of this.
I'm all in on it. I agree. I've lived in socialist countries. There's pros, but it's not all that great. Bernie Sanders has some interesting takes. We've been following him as he is the hero of the millennials. Hero of the morons.
I like the way they do that, by the way. We haven't really discussed it in any detail, but the way that meme, in fact, we started with you being skeptical about him because you were out of the country.
Correct. I didn't notice it.
And you missed it.
Yep.
But the way they've engineered it to make him the hero of the millennials, to get the millennials off their asses so they might actually vote, because they didn't vote in the last election. They voted Obama in. Obama didn't do what they wanted, so they just stayed home.
Right.
So now to get them going, they got this Bernie. I think it's a shill for the whole system, and I think they're going to love the guy, and they're not going to stay at home because when Warren comes in at the last minute, she'll take over his thought process because she thinks just like he does. Take over his money, and then Hillary, who will be hopefully forced out of the race.
Oh, yeah, all her money will go to Warren, of course.
And all of it will go to Warren. She'll have a huge, out of the chute.
Right, and there will be no investigation of the Clinton Foundation.
Right.
That's your thesis, and I love it. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Pocahontas. Would you like some wampum? I'm sorry.
See, now there's another example of where you'd get fired if we actually worked for somebody.
Curry, you're off the air. Hold on.
You're off ringing. The air. What happened to Mr. Curry? Well, Mr. Curry's been put on probation.
The role of Mr. Curry will now be played by Patty Steele. And here's Bernie Sanders on the Second Amendment, which he has a very unique take on.
I come from a state which has virtually no gun control, and yet I voted to ban certain types of assault weapons. I voted to close the gun show loophole, and I voted for instant background checks. And what I said is that as a nation, we can't continue screaming at each other, or else we've got to find common ground.
Well, what is that? What is that?
Because common ground is, for a start, universal instant background checks. Nobody should have a gun who has a criminal background, who's involved in domestic abuse situations. People should not have guns who are going to hurt other people, who are unstable. And second of all, I believe that we need to make sure that certain types of guns used to kill people exclusively, not for hunting, they should not be sold in the United States of America. And we have a huge loophole now with gun shows that should be eliminated. There may be other things that we have to do. But coming from a rural state, I think I can communicate with folks coming from urban states where guns mean different things than they do in Vermont where it's used for hunting. That's where we've got to go. We don't have to argue with each other and yell at each other. We need a common sense solution.
Common sense solution. If it's not for hunting, it shouldn't be around. I think he misunderstood the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's not. I don't know, Bernie. I don't know how that's going to play.
This just appeals to a bunch of dummies.
Yeah. The Iran deal is still being...
this is becoming comedic.
Well, you know what's really comedic? Then I don't think it got the legs. It wasn't. So whoever put this together had the right idea, failed on execution. There's a video which includes Jack Black, Morgan Freeman, Valerie Plame, Queen Noor of Jordan, Ambassador Thomas Pickering. So a combination of politicians and, Queen Noor. Hello, beauty.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
And I found this video, and Jack, would you like to hear it? It's pretty much.
This was actually discussed on a couple of the shows. I was going to follow up, and I didn't. I'm glad you did. This is another example of how the No Agenda show works.
Oh, yes.
Well, except for that.
Yeah. That's exactly how the No Agenda show works.
Walk right in, I get with the big setup. Boom.
All right, continue with the setup.
But by the way, which reminds me, I can see that you've lost confidence in me because of this. I looked at it. I looked at the clip list, and it said that when it said Biden, when I was trying to get the Bin Laden thing. But you saw Biden, and you've seen my carelessness with naming clips, and you thought it meant Bin Laden.
No, I misread it as Bin Laden. It was dyslexia.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I apologize. Did not mean to do that.
No, I just thought it was a lack of confidence.
No, John, I have nothing but full confidence in you.
Well, I do misspell a lot of stuff in these clip names.
Yeah, but I'm used to it. In fact, could you please just not pay so much attention to it, because I'm used to the neural network of seeing the misspelled names and finding the clip. Now you're on, trying to...
I know, there's not one misspelling in this whole list.
No.
No, check it.
No. Apparently you've checked it. So the idea is the right idea. Get a whole bunch of celebrities and get some, hotties like Queen Noor to say, we need this deal. And then this will get everyone on board. And does anyone believe that certainly millennials, do they go out, do they email or mail or call their representatives? I don't think so.
I really
doubt that.
My experience with the millennials, and I think is good, multiple of what you have, they don't even know you can complain about stuff.
No, they don't.
Oh, you can do that?
We can do it at wethepeople.gov, and you can get on or move.org or change.org, whatever. It's all taking away from the actual method of addressing your representatives.
I don't know if a millennial's ever called the cops. Anyway, go on.
I love playing Frisbee with my sons.
I love the sound of the waves on the Pacific at sunrise.
I love curling up with a good book.
I love to see my grandkids smile.
But if Congress sabotages the nuclear deal with Iran...
we could be denied the very moments that make our lives worth living.
Why?
Dude, because we'd be dead.
Super dead.
Like totally fried by a major nuclear bomb dead.
I won't be able to play Frisbee with my sons because there won't even be a Frisbee. The Frisbee will be melted.
We will be melted.
Or worse.
Oh.
Toasted?
Yes, Natasha, but most people think toast is delicious. This would not be that kind of toast. It would be like a really dark, unpleasant cloud of death toast.
Whoa! We're not actually worried about Iran dropping a nuclear weapon on the United States.
Holy shit. Is that...
Yes, Jack, it's me, Queen Noor from Jordan.
Look, it is true that if Congress sabotages this deal, there would be nothing stopping Iran from getting the bomb. That would likely spark an arms race throughout the region.
Precisely, Ambassador Pickering.
Ultimately, we could be forced into a war with Iran, another dangerous, drawn-out, and expensive conflict in the Middle East with many lives lost.
So wait, are you saying that instead of a quick toasting type of death, that in a war with Iran, maybe a lot of people would die much more slowly? Like if they were put into, say, an immense crock pot for a really, really long time?
Natasha, I don't think you need a surrealistic food metaphor to comprehend the sheer recklessness of a war with Iran. Once the war begins, the chances of Iran developing a nuclear weapon would only increase.
Wait a second. That's Valerie Plame. Valerie Plame is in this flipping video. Valerie, do you know that because you're a spy?
I'm not going to answer that question, Jack.
I think what Valerie is saying is that the agreement currently on the table is the best way to ensure Iran doesn't build a bomb.
And it gives the international community unprecedented access to verify that Iran is keeping up its end of the bargain.
A strong deal built on international diplomacy is the best way forward.
And the alternative to that is war.
War with Iran is a really bad idea.
The worst idea ever.
Look, we all love our children, and the Iranians love their children.
And we've got a deal on the table that keeps us all safe.
Do me a favor, okay? Don't let some hot-headed member of Congress screw that up.
Because playing politics with our national security is actually not all that funny.
Call Congress, tell them, support diplomacy. It's the only sane solution.
And believe me when I say to you, I hope the Iranians love their children too. Stink.
Bomb them, and bomb them again.
I want to stomp on them. I want to swap them. I want to raid them.
Okay, this is worse than I thought.
Yeah, I know.
It's too long, and it's overproduced. And what is the point of all this cussing? I don't want to fucking buy.
Oh, that's to appeal to the millennials, of course, John.
Yes, apparently. It is stupid.
Yep.
It's stupid. It's really stupid.
I wonder who produced this.
The guy should be taken out to the woodshed. It's extremely stupid.
We should find out. Let me see. Campaign.
Yeah, let's find out.
Iran, Jack Black. Someone sold someone a bill of goods. The Guardian. Let's see. Do you see any... I wonder who put that together.
Well,
they got someone with clout because they got Queen Noor. But maybe if you get Jack Black, everyone falls into line. And Morgan Freeman, man, that could be any more of a shill for? He'll show up for anything. I wonder who made that.
We'll find out, and it's probably talked about in more detail in Variety.
Okay, we'll look at that. Oh yes, Variety is a good place to look it up. I'll do that.
Yeah, that's where I look.
Okay. Well, we will stay on the cutting edge, the leading tip, the spearhead of all things evil. Or dumb.
Or dumb.
Just dumb. Maybe the Norman Lear Foundation.
You know.
Could be those guys.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Might be onto something with that simple thought.
For sure, our producers will find out for us. Oh, produced by Global Zero, an organization aiming to eliminate all nuclear weapons. Okay, I'll look into that. I'll have that for you Thursday. That's a fun one. See who's on the board there, who's doing what.
I love.
All right, John. Thank you for your courage.
Fine. I want to congratulate you for your award.
Thank you very much. I shall be retiring soon.
Well, I hope not. But I think you should get... I like the way you groused about not getting the award for Best Produced. That was the only funny thing.
I always grouse about that.
Yes, and well, you should.
All right. Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State in the Crackpot Condo in the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we're under the heat dome, I guess, but I don't see anything but fog, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Thursday right here on No Agenda.
In the morning. Oh, but at the end of the day, they're backing him. You know, they're backing. Come on.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, John, if someone wants to get anyone, they can get him.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's more important that we have entertainment.
At the end of the day.
So, at the end of the day, who's going to pay for the real loan? It's going to be taxpayer money.
At the end of the day.
Because at the end of the day, that's going to be up to Valerie Jarrett.
At the end of the day.
I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that it?
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, all this money is owed to bankers.
At the end of the day.
But at the end of the day, I think it's good.
At the end of the day,
At the end of the day, as Americans, what we always do is we always say,
at the end of the day.
So at the end of the day, it's not actually the health care, it's the...
At the end of the day,
At the end of the day, you can't deny I had to put less gas in.
At the end of the day.
So at the end of the day, we're all anti-Semites.
At the end of the day,
At the end of the day, you get, I think it's 4%.
At the end of the day.
Starts to run together at the end of the day, and you kind of forget, right? And then...
At the end of the day,
You know, John, you and I are both in the audience business at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
And so at the end of the day, she can say, hey, I told
you so.
At the end of the day, But I don't say at the end of the day. I said it once, I think, ever. It's a little bit funny.
No, it's not.
This is a rowdy crowd. Come on, guys. You're in my house. Hold on a second. No. Hey. Okay, you know what? Shame on you. You shouldn't be doing this.
I'm Joe Biden, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA.
Amen. Fist bump.